How did you get here? How did you get here?
Okay, see you later.
Naz, how did you get here? How did you get here? How many in your entourage?
You eat meat?
I eat meat.
What's your footprint?
But I'm not the one here. I'm not the one standing here pretending that I stand for all these things.
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
But you do, mate. You do. There you go. The biggest hypocrite on YouTube.
People who wave swastikas vote for Trump, and I will vote for everything against somebody who waves a swastika.
Okay, well, that's kind of like really simplistic, but
It is simplistic,
A
but
couple
that's
of
all
weeks
I need
ago-
because they're f***ing Nazis.
But on the other.
Nazi?
No, but you are. But if you...
Oh, but I am.
No. That's not what I mean.
I just can't make sense of it where in a Western democracy, the media is not only not safe, they seem to have been targeted in that situation.
Yeah, I can't speak for exactly what the police were doing there and what was happening, but definitely you can see my face and you can see what happened.
Good on him. Why don't you wear another? Why don't you put another mask on? You're putting us all at risk.
Why don't you off?
Yeah, you're the one that walked to me.
Why don't you off?
How does it feel knowing that your group attacked the only here?
So you
Where are you from? Where are you from?
off.
Where are you from? Why are you? Wear another mask.
Fuck off.
You look like the Nazis the way you're dressed. You look exactly like the Nazis. Don't touch.
There's two groups gathered here. You've got the Free Palestinian side, the pro-Palestinian side. On the other side, you've got a small group of Israelis there. They're from the community. This is most likely their neighborhood.
They claim it's not about anti-Semitism, but they keep throwing coins, throwing notes, showing us notes. This is 100% about Jews, not about each other. And we've imported this hate, and their useful idiots on the left are enjoying and participating in their Jew hatred.
You should shape your beard
Why?
because it's like a bit messy down here. Yeah.
You don't know about different cultures, or do you just think you do?
I don't know about different cultures.
You always go around telling people of color what to do, how to dress. No, I don't. I'm asking you. Do you always go around telling people of color how to dress and how to look?
I want to hear about Daniel's breakfast.
Yeah. That's
About deflection. So the white anti-fascist being called out for his actual racism,
Did you eat
and
the
he's
yogurt?
deflecting by talking about another.
Did you?
Listen, stick to what you do,
find out what
Bear.
Daniel had for
Your
breakfast?
racism.
Take your mask off, bro, and talk to me. Don't be a coward, bro. Don't be a coward, man. What's with the umbrella, man? I'm just trying to cover what's happening here.
Why wouldn't I be out? Why? Because you guys are so peaceful. Because you're so peaceful. You're all so peaceful. I wouldn't be here, the Jews wouldn't be here if the police weren't here to protect them. Making the point that they are a violent mob.
I'll stop now because you're asking me quite aggressive questions.
Well, I think
and
the
I
whole
didn't ask to be interviewed. This is an interview done against my approval. And if it's
vaccination
used-
is also
no, if
the
it's
vaccine.
used- If this interview
People
is
are forced vaccinated. Do you think that's okay? That's against their will, and that's WHO pushed the vaccine.
No, I have never called for forced vaccination myself.
Why is that not the WHO official position?
I am not giving the WHO official position. Gosh, you're an aggressive interviewer.
What are you talking about? You're a wedding photographer. Please, do not talk to me.
We just had a guy tell us all about the working class, and you're telling me that wedding photographers can't do this kind of work.
Wedding photographers below your white privilege.
Yeah, actually, no, you're right. I got an answer. No, I just think I'm better than you two fucking idiots.
You said, yeah, that's fine.
Nothing to do with class or race or any of those things.
You brought up my job. You brought up my job.
Anti-fascist, and then he went straight to making fun of him like the person of colour is below him, the holy white man. Shame on you, you racist bigot. How do you put up with him if he's still voting for Dan Andrews?
Well,
We have a fight over it.
if he
Oh, did you have a fight over it?
Oh, no.
if he gives me my pocket money and doesn't complain.
Traditional man, yeah.
Yes, he is, and I love him.
God bless you
He's a good
both.
cook, and I'm the provider.
He provides the money. I cook up the 5-star.
You are the sweetest couple. I'll even forgive you that you voted Daniel Andrews in.
Don't worry, I'm taking him back to the nursing home.
What are you scared of medicine for, you coward?
I'm not a coward, man.
Yeah, buddy. Woo! Say hey, your people being here.
When someone's like talking about something that directly affects you and they have no skin in the game. None, nada, zero.
How do you feel about Israel and Palestine?
I mean, I don't think the genocide in Gaza is good.
Do you have skin in the game?
That's like a little bit of a different issue, though. Like, we're talking about like the health.
No, but I'm just trying to make the point here. You have a really strong opinion about Israel. I'm applying your same argument back at you. You don't know what you're talking about. You've got no skin in the game. And
I'm okay.
Okay. Funny how her logic only applies to her political foes. Imagine my shock. You're not happy about the crowd?
Hey?
You're not happy about them?
Isn't it a Nazi protest?
Where's there a Nazi?
Huh?
Where do you see a Nazi?
Well, that's just what I heard. Either way, alt-right. You know,
Who's alt-right though?
these guys.
What makes them alt-right? Because they don't like Daniel Andrews.
Sure, I don't know. I'm not.
So what is it? You're the one sticking your finger up at him.
You're the one like harassing me over this.
You just stood here and stuck your finger up at a crowd, took a photo. So I think it's fair game. If you're willing to put all these people on your social media with a finger, calling them outright Nazis, I think it's pretty fair for me to come and ask you why.
That is true, yes, fair enough.
So why?
Because I just don't agree with them.
What don't you agree with?
Any of their stances.
Give me one of them. One of their stances.
All right, tell me what their position is.
But you're the one that's standing against them. Surely you know.
Okay, cool. I gotta go.
So you don't know?
He's asked you before to step back.
No, he's asked me to get away because he doesn't want me here. That's very different, and you're breaking my meter in half. Same thing.
Yeah, is the reason you don't have a mask on for them?
Yep. We've been through this with your legal department about 5 minutes ago. You might want to ask your superiors about it.
I'll ask you.
You don't have to wear it when you're working like this.
Is that right?
Yeah, go. Call the media. Call the department again.
And your name?
Avraham Yemini.
Do you have your media pass?
Not on me, no. You don't. Mate, you want to call your superiors, you're going to go through this again.
I just need to know who you are.
Avraham Yemini, Rebel News, on my thing. Your intimidation tactics are not going to work.
I'm not trying to intimidate.
All right, yeah, you are, because you know exactly who I am, mate.
So you're working for media, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You're spraying the media department, no issues.
Yep.
You don't have to wear your face mask while you're doing
Yep.
this, but just make sure that if you're just talking to the guys, that you do put the face mask on for
Yep.
it, okay?
I'm going in and out of it, but I don't appreciate where they tell you that they don't want me in the park, so I've got to go, because if we go by that logic, most of the people in this park don't want you in the park.
Okay, listen to this.
So do you see how, if you want to apply that logic, it's got to be even?
Are you going to let me speak?
What?
Like I said, we've accepted that you're media. Okay,
Oh, thank you. You've accepted. No, but I don't need you to, because I don't need you, because I've come here from the minute I've walked here, and you guys have been confrontational.
Let's go.
There you go. They want you to work with them when it suits them, but they can come up and confront you at any time. That is the definition of a police state. And everybody at home that's apathetic, you let this happen. Why have you been told you have to move on? Can I understand that? Because that's a bit more.
She has to move on now. She's already been given an infringement. Okay?
I've got the infringement. We're taking care of that for her, but we want to understand why she's been. Can I understand? Because the lawyer would like to know. We're taking this fight on for her and would like to know why she's been given. She lives in the area, so she's legally allowed here.
We're not going to discuss that with you. She's been given her direction. She knows.
What direction has she been given? What direction? She doesn't know. She doesn't understand. So you're abusing your power. You're kicking a woman out from her own neighbourhood park because you think you have some sort of authority that you don't hold. You can't do that to locals.
Everyone was being sprayed and it's just chaos here. And I think it's completely unnecessary chaos because the people have already gathered here. They're already protesting. This is just a show of force, a show of control.
We've done more for climate change than you have.
Yeah? What have you done?
We've done.
How did you get here?
We've done more for climate change than you have.
How did you get here?
See you later.
Naz, how did you get here? How did you get here? How many in your entourage? You eat meat? I eat meat.
What's your footprint?
But I'm not the one here. I'm not the one standing here pretending that I stand for all these things.
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
But you do, mate. You do. There you go. The biggest hypocrite on YouTube.
People who wave swastikas vote for Trump, and I will vote for everything against somebody who waves a swastika.
Okay, well, that's kind of like really simplistic, but
it is simplistic.
A
but
couple
that's
of
all
weeks
I need
ago,
because they're fucking Nazis.
But
on the other.
No, but you are. But if you.
Oh, but I
Yo, 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 what's happening?
I just had to send a message right on the spot. What's happening, mate? How you going?
I'm doing good. I'm a bit tired.
Why
Bit
you
tired. Just been on the road since since last Sunday. Since the big protest, been on the road and just got back to Melbourne. And yeah, we're on the podcast. But yeah, a little bit tired, so I might be low energy. But let's see. Maybe I can pick it up throughout the podcast. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm used to having to kind of take this show anyways. It's kind of a one-man show, so... Welcome, everybody, to the Opposition Podcast with your host, Avi, and his sidekick, Rukshan. Hope you're having a good evening, all 1,400 of you, as usual. Make sure to like to help the algorithm, share it to invite more people into our lovely growing community. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, especially on YouTube. Press all. That way you get all the lives that we do. And like we said to you, we've got some interesting bloody lives coming up.
Oh yeah,
in the next couple of weeks.
That's so true. I don't even know how that's all going to play out. We don't even know, really, do we? Like, it's going to be interesting. So make sure you hit the notification bell, because it might be at different hours, odd hours. So hit that bell, right?
Yeah, I think we've been outed by somebody I can see on the super chats. So just speaking of super chats, ladies and gentlemen, what you see scrolling below us is the live chat on YouTube. My channel is below me, and Rukshan's channel is below him. So you can get involved in the conversation, and we encourage it on YouTube, and it'll be featured automatically there. And all the super chats, as usual, we will read them. So you get to kind of guide the conversation, shift it, send us off topic, or just tell me how much I suck or how good I am, whatever. Either way, just super chat away, because that's what helps us.
We don't mind.
Shows. No, well, it's and thank you in advance, because without the super chats, without you guys supporting us, none of this is possible. So tonight we're going to run through the daily stories. A bunch of them, I think some of them were listed in the headline there. And then we have our special guest that everybody, the real hero of Rebel News Australia, I think. Everyone, probably the favourite person. People ask him for photos when we go out. It's insane. And so Daniel will be with us at about 8 p.m. to talk about all of that. His video. So I was actually, to be honest, I'm dead, because I've been producing those videos now for... what is it? It's 5 days straight. And the last one we have left, so we did if you actually think about it, we did the live for all those hours. Yep. Then we did, the first video was just like those African boys singing the Australian. Yep. That one was easy. Then we did The Age, showing how The Age's front cover was just like a defamatory hit piece on a poor bloody guy who just got beaten up for wearing a Star of David, and they called him a Nazi. Then the next day we did the Antifa. That was pretty fun. I was pretty happy with that. That was funny as. I was just laughing.
Yeah, I found that funny. Even the one you just put up today, that little clip, that was funny.
Oh,
those interactions are pretty funny.
Yeah, so then there's... then you go to... Then there was also just hearing from the average Aussies that were there, the real people that were there, the majority of people that were there. And then the last video, obviously there's that little video I've put up. I've just put on X so far. So if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be pretty funny. It's a piece, but it's got an extra bit in it that wasn't in the main video.
I mean, I like that. I like that him, her, she, him. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but I thought they're pretty funny. Calling us cookers, and it's a cooked podcasters.
Yeah.
We should get them on the show, to be completely honest. That's pretty funny.
I would love to have them on. So the last video left is, and I left it last because it was probably the least newsworthy, as in time sensitive. And that is essentially all the interactions we had with the National Socialists, all of them, like all their members and all their different characters that tried to attack us at different times. So there was more than one incident. If people watching the full, and the thing that's interesting is also, even if you're watching the full live, some of this wasn't in it because remember we had 2 cameras going. Well, we had 3 cameras going. You were controlling what was ever on the live, but some of the stuff, including when this guy hit me with a pole and you know, tapped me with a pole and denied it. And we've got the 360 now. Plus we've got the, you know, some of the audios from, you know, there was a while there where there was kind of this standoff with the Nazis until they realised that they couldn't outnumber us anymore, and they weren't willing to have another crack.
I mean, it's an interesting story because actually, even today, Avi, they're still talking about that in Parliament and on the news, all the interviews that people are giving on TV. So at least for the media, that's been a major point of focus. And I think maybe when Daniel's on, we can have a look at the change.org petition as well to report Sewell Thomas. So we can have a look and see how many signatures there are now, because that's also growing. I actually saw it in a foreign language newspaper as well, like an online newspaper. So it's getting around. Like there's a lot of, I don't know if it's interest or intrigue or, you know, people who are angry about this in the community, but there's a lot of interest on that particular petition to deport the leader of the NSN.
There's also rising calls to have me deported. Did you hear about that?
I mean, maybe they should make a change.org petition for you. I mean, they've probably made one in the past. We should see who gets more signatures, you or Thomas. I think both of you, you're both dual nationals. So
yes,
it would be up to the NSN. I mean, I'm not trying to shame you here. I'm just.
No, I feel like I'm being shamed.
I'm pointing out the fact that I only have one passport, which is the Australian passport. This is all I have, Avi, Australia.
I have 3.
Everything. You have 3. I just want to get that jab in there because that's what. Look at Avi; he's gotten all sad now because he knows.
I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy that I have a few passports. And please clip this. I know Australia versus the Agenda is watching this. Please clip this. Say g'day to your fans. Yep, I've got multiple passports. Don't hate the player, hate the game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the show.
Let's go.
So remember, we'll just read the super chats that came till now, and then we'll go from there. What do we got here? Gunzy says,
Gunzy.
Yeah, I'm going. You do it. I'd
Keep
like to.
doing good work. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining in. I think it's the first time I've seen a Gunzy super chat. So
appreciate that. Welcome
love
to the
having
super
you here,
chat
mate.
family. What is that? Like a fanny?
This is from the real Eric. Got Vegemite sandwich and tea secured. Ready to see Daniel's beautiful face on stream. We've got another Daniel fanboy in the house.
I told you, people will tune in.
A little bit concerning, but yeah, it is what it is.
He's grown. Like, I've watched him, so I've known Daniel for many years now. And I've watched him grow and also physically grow on us. And his beard grow out on us. Yeah, so I do see the appeal. A lot of people love him. I do love Daniel. He's like the gentle giant. Varan. Thank you, Varan.
Shalom, Avi and Rukshan and Daniel. Yes, right now President Xi is eating yamcha of Chairman Dan's naked body. With that image to cause nightmares. Hello, chat, mate. I'm just trying to picture it now, and yeah, so many things wrong with this image.
Thank you for the super chat, as usual. Welcome to the show, Varan.
Got from Paul, thanks for the super chat. Character appearing from behind a cloud saying hi. Oh, that's the emoji. Emoji.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, thanks for joining in the super chat.
Thanks for the super chat.
This is from Thomas. I'm sickened by how vulgar and offensive the left are, especially the women who speak as if they were born in a Brunswick block. The hate aggression they project to silence others is dangerous. I have seen some of these videos that people are putting up of these kind of young women yelling at, like, you know, elderly people and things like this. They are quite.
You saw that one where that woman, that young, like, whatever.
Spat on that lady.
Spat on her.
Spat on that grandmother. I mean, it's just disgusting, vile things. It's these feral left-wing uni students.
I know.
Usually, anyway.
And it's like there's this double standard. Like when the right have nutcases that are disgusting and vile and shameful, everybody condemns them. And this last weekend's a perfect example. You had, actual proud Nazis running around the streets and committing violent acts with impunity, brazenly in front of everyone, dressed in a uniform, and everybody condemned them. But that exact same scenario often happens by the left, in the left, and nobody ever bats an eyelid.
Yeah. It's accepted. What from Baz the Dark Horse, mate? Thanks for coming on to the show and watching. You're always here, Baz. Great to have you around. Tommy told Aaron about the 13th. Can you interview Carl and Tussie TV? Ooh.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Some clues in there. We have no idea what you're talking about, mate.
What are you talking about?
We'll just have to move on from this whole super chat.
Baz, thank you for the super chat. May God bless you with long life and much knowledge.
Varan says, Albo wants to deport the Nazi back to NZ. Good. All it took was yelling at Jacinta Andrews for action. Yet Albo wants to bring in ISIS brides. Yeah, these women made their choice. They shouldn't be here. That's true. I mean, the contradictions there, especially from the left, when you hear how they support bringing in, some of them at least that I've heard speaking about this.
Yeah.
They support bringing back these ISIS brides. And like Varan says, they've made the choice. Lay down in that bed.
Literally.
Figuratively. I'm saying figuratively. And, you're supporting one of the most disgusting terrorist groups ever to exist, ISIS. And now they're talking about bringing them back here. And, we're going to have to spend hundreds and thousands, if not millions of dollars, keeping an eye on these people. It just doesn't make any sense to me, Avi.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No one else would do that. No other country would accept that. Even the UK didn't accept it.
Abby's in the house. Hey, Abby, how you doing? Sing it, Avi. Hey.
Tommy. It's censored. No.
Is it really still censored? Because I think
just Meta.
On YouTube?
On YouTube? It's just
okay.
Meta. Just Facebook.
Oh, just Meta.
Yeah, everything else is all right. It's just Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
So make sure, guys, I'm not giving any hints, but I'm just saying you might, if you're watching this on Facebook, on Rukshan's Facebook, you might want to just jump over on YouTube and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because who knows, maybe some of the stuff can't be seen on Facebook. All right, let's get into tonight. Let's start with a man that I miss discussing, and I'm sure you do too. Yeah, is that?
Right. I mean, just having flashbacks now. I've been going through my old memes and stuff, looking at some of the old ones about our former dictator here in Victoria. And it's pretty hilarious. Like, when he was around, I mean, sure, Jacinta Allen's as bad in some respects, but there was something unique about Daniel Andrews, how he just got everyone worked up with the nonsense that he would go on about. And this is another great example of him showing exactly who he is, and who we always knew. We always knew that this was the case. And now it's out. Now it's out for the world to see. So without further ado, we're talking about Dictator Daniel Andrews.
For those saying that we should debate Saul, I offered him to come on tonight's show. I don't know what happened.
Meantime, to that Chinese military parade and that extraordinary photo of Dan Andrews with the axis of evil. Joining me is Peter Jennings from Strategic Analysis Australia. Peter, thanks for your time. I've got to get your reaction. What did you make of that photo of Dan Andrews today with Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un?
Well, he'll be known forever by the company he keeps, Danica, and it was some pretty unpleasant company. You know, these are the authoritarian rulers around the world. These are the torturers. These are the people who bully their own populations. And of course, they were all there in Beijing to celebrate a festival of Chinese military strength, telling the rest of the world that we are now here in strength and we're coming to dominate you and to supplant the role of the United States and the democracies. And Dan Andrews wants to be associated with that. I find it quite remarkable. Who's advising this guy? You know, what cause does he think he's advancing by doing this? So I think it was extremely disappointing, but people will make their own judgments, and I suspect it will universally be a very negative judgment about his choice to be there at a celebration of Chinese militarism with a whole bunch of very unpleasant authoritarian rulers.
Well, how would China view his attendance and him standing in that photo? Would they see it as the ultimate propaganda gift?
Oh, probably a second or third tier propaganda gift. I mean, he is what Vladimir Lenin used to call a useful idiot, someone who is lending weight to support a cause which I think he can't possibly have a clear understanding of. And it was a pretty select audience, let's be clear about this. This was a very unlovely collection of political leaders from around the world. A handful of leaders from Southeast Asia, which I think should be ringing warning bells in Australia, especially President Prabowo of Indonesia. That really tells us that, you know, there's a lot of work we need to do in our region to sort of strengthen the position of the democracies and of our alliance relationships. So China would have regarded the presence of any sort of former senior Australian politician as being a positive, something that says, look, here are people who endorse what we do. But, you know, frankly, our own government had the sense to stay away. Our ambassador had the sense to stay away. That's really what Dan Andrews should have done as well.
Oh, look, I completely agree. It was a complete embarrassment. Look, we saw China really show off its military might today. What was the true aims of this so-called Victory Day parade? What message are they trying to send to the West?
Well, I think it's always worth remembering that their domestic audience is the most important one from the Communist Party, and we should also understand that the People's Liberation Army, which also covers their Navy and their Air Force, is the military of the Communist Party. It's not the military of the Chinese state. So message number one to the Chinese people is to say we're in charge and don't forget it. This is Chairman Mao's saying power flows from the barrel of the gun, and Xi Jinping is showing that to his own people. The message to the wider world is to say, look at our strength. You know, we're no longer hiding our international position. We're showing that we want to be the dominant power, not just in the Indo-Pacific, but actually in the world. Here we come. And, you know, my view is that we should take some sort of discount factor to some of this equipment. A lot of it looked like stuff that was, you know, altogether too neatly painted, sort of bobbling around on the backs of trucks. I mean, who knows what the real military capability is. But it's a show of strength. It's an expression of China's position in the international environment and a statement to say that, you know, we intend to rule by force if the democracies are silly enough to let China get away with that.
But
I just want to say one thing. The communists sure do know how to put on a military parade.
Much better than the one earlier this year with the Americans, let's just say.
I mean, people are making fun of that, but I don't know. I feel like the comment that I've seen about that is the Americans are battle hardened. Like,
yes,
so that military has been tested multiple times in the battlefield. Whereas
well,
the Chinese
no,
military,
of course. And what do you prefer? One that can march perfectly in sync and that can do these formations that look great when you have a million of them together, or do you rather ones that can capture a town, you know, a village?
Yeah.
I'd rather one that can actually execute and prosecute a war. That's
look. No, I agree. But Daniel Andrews, in that photo where he was with Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi Jinping, he just looked like he was home. Like, he looked so at home. He looked as if he belonged. And there's something to that, isn't there, Avi? The fact that he blends in so well. And the point that was made by that interview we watched, the ambassador of Australia declined. All these officials from Australia, from the government and things, you know, so on, declined. But it was Daniel Andrews and Bob Carr, I think the two Australians, that put their hand up.
Two traitors.
From the Labor side, I think we also had someone
both former premiers, two former Labor premiers. Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder how much of these people sold out this country to China in the past. Like, how cozy are their relationships with China? I'm saying when they were leaders and the decisions that they make.
Andrews was pushing the Belt and Road. Like, you know what the most shocking part of this entire story to me personally is? How many people are surprised? How many people are shocked by it? It's not like he was hiding it. It's not like he's ever tried to hide it.
Yeah,
I guess it's most shocking for people now because they're thinking, this is why it's shocking for them now. They're like, why are you going at a time like this and sharing a stage with Putin and North Korea and China? Like, it's really actually, I think more than anything, it's the fact that Putin's up there during this war.
And what are his supporters saying though? Daniel Andrews' supporters, the I Stand with Dan crowd, who are brainwashed.
I saw a funny tweet. Somebody tweeted, was it Coatsworth? What's his name? The former.
Nick Coatsworth.
I think it was him. He goes, "Where's the the new I Stand with Dan crowd?" Or something. He captioned the photo. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Standing with the axis of evil, but they're saying, well, look at the time that Trump met Kim Jong-un, Trump met Putin, and,
very different.
Morrison's met Kim, Albanese's met these individuals.
Very, very different.
Very different when you are in a position of leadership and you are doing diplomatic and foreign relations. When you meet people,
what is he doing
otherwise
there?
Support.
Why? And
exactly.
Everybody, he's not
why,
even.
And how did he get more than the why, Avi? The fact that he is in the inner circle. Of the Xi Jinping communist regime in the CCP to get an invite to something like this as a guest of honor. Of all people that we know, Daniel freaking Andrews is a CCP.
I think he was probably doing the guest list. It's my suspicion.
Yeah.
But
I think since then he's put out, I believe he's put out a statement, and
there's
also
a couple
on
of
Chinese TV.
Yeah, let's watch the Chinese TV because that's just pretty funny to me that he was on Chinese TV.
Victoria has undertaken significant renewable energy infrastructure projects. So what do you think is the significance of this paradigm shift in development?
Well, it's really important to see President Xi, as well as other senior leaders across China, so consistently speak about changing the way economic growth occurs. To not just be focused on the old ways, but to be increasingly focused on high productivity and quality, not just in inputs, but quality from an outcome point of view. That, of course, means that the energy transition, moving away from fossil fuels and having a much cleaner and greener and more sustainable future, one that comes in at a much lower cost, both in terms of dollars, but also air quality, people's health, and indeed the health of the planet. It's very encouraging to see that that's not just been one speech on one day. That is a really consistent theme, as you say, a buzz phrase. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about how Chinese government, the central government, sees that unfolding in the years to come. But from our point of view, we have taken our local community from a very significant reliance on coal and gas, and are in the midst of a massive transition away from those fossil fuels. Wind and solar and battery storage is absolutely the future. And when you think about it, the cheapest form of new energy is in fact renewable energy. We have to break from the past and we have to continue that massive investment, many, many billions of dollars in building a new energy grid, in transforming industry. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren. And if you look at China's record, massive investments and a big switch, a very big switch, one that I don't think China quite gets the international credit and acclaim for that it should get. You've been on a very long journey. There's still a further distance to travel, like all of us. But partnership between Australia and China can be critical in us making that energy transition, and indeed China completing that energy transition as well.
He is full of crap, and a lot. I mean, really, you're going to get advice from Daniel Andrews about economies and things like this after the destruction that he laid bare in Victoria over his tenure as the Premier in our state. If anything, if Daniel Andrews was there working at the CCP in some type of advisory role, it appears to be he's giving some type of advice there, he would most likely end up in some sort of prison camp for the way that he runs things, right? And the amount of debt he would put you in. I don't know. All of this seems very fishy. All of this seems quite suspicious. especially when you consider the amount of times that Daniel Andrews made trips to China when he was premier without the Australian media. What exactly was he getting up to on those trips? Why exactly wasn't the media there? And I think now a lot of that makes more sense because it's very clear that he's very cozy with the Chinese system, and that is the CCP system. And Xi Jinping sees him as a useful idiot, yes, but it is a bit of a power play over Australia as well, I think, from the Xi regime, because it has made it a domestic issue in Australia now that Daniel Andrews has appeared there. I don't know if you've got the Prime Minister commenting on it, Avi.
I'm just trying to see how many. I was just trying to look up how many new coal-fired power plants China.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, it's just
like he's just talking complete nonsense. Like they're not getting the credit they deserve. Aren't they one of the biggest? China and India are the biggest emitters of carbon. Like and they're not. Like we're the ones that are shifting before we have the capability, and we're going to end up with a lot of power outages because of our stupid government Labor policy.
Yeah.
While China's
fine.
China's making sure they have plenty of power plants, and they got, as that guest on Sky News said, they got a lot of useful. Or they've got at least a couple of useful idiots from the Labor Party. And it's funny how you notice how Dan Andrews seems to, the way he's talking, he seems to be portraying himself as still someone almost in government here, in leadership of the state. That's kind of the vibe I get. Now, is that just him talking himself, bigging himself up on Chinese TV? Yeah. Or is Daniel Andrews actually very much, involved in the Victorian government still? And
it feels like it. I mean, he's a bit of like a kingmaker type individual.
It's interesting because remember when the Liberal Party, Scott Morris, was it ScoMo? Yeah, it was ScoMo that basically Dan was trying to move forward with the Belt and Road, and they basically blocked him in federal parliament, stopped it, pulled it from under. I wonder if there's something to it. That Dan Andrew was like, no, we got to get back this stuff we were doing, and well, firstly, the federal government is much friendlier with Dan Andrews now with Albanese, but even without that, like a way to get around some of the stuff that they probably created. I can't remember the legislation that they passed. They passed some sort of legislation which screwed his Belt and Road initiative. But I wonder if this is a way for him to get in there and he's not breaching anything and potentially do stuff as a third party for the government. I know it's a bit of, I'm just...
No, it's a possibility because Daniel Andrews is a Labor guy. He was seen a few weeks ago before Albanese, I think, met with Albanese, in Melbourne, dining together. I don't know if you remember that. They were photographed.
Yeah, I remember.
Restaurant in Melbourne. So, Look, Daniel Andrews could be working on behalf of the Australian government unofficially.
It's a way to get around any rules.
Exactly. He's got relationships in China. He's been sent out there to, do these meetings and appear at these things and get all cozy with the Chinese again. And then unofficially to build these relationships on behalf of Albanese, who doesn't want to be seen right now, especially with Trump, who's, got a different stance on Australia and the Chinese at the moment. Maybe work out some new deals around energy. He's speaking about energy on TV as well. So it could be something like this. Of course, we don't have evidence of this, this is all speculation. But it does feel fishy because I don't see Daniel Andrews as being someone that would go out there to make Albanese per se look bad, if that makes sense. To go out of his way just for his own interest. He is very much a Labor guy.
Yeah.
And he would have the wider agenda in his mind. And that meeting with Albanese that he had a few weeks ago, that photograph that he took, there is no way that Anthony Albanese would not have known that Daniel Andrews would be at this military parade with Xi Jinping. he would have known from the very get-go that when it was planned.
I agree. Read a couple of super chats and then we'll move on.
This is from Jason Priestley. Thanks for the super chat. Quick question: how can we find out about future protests? P.S. Keep up the amazing work you two do, and would love to buy you guys a beer. Look, the protest.
Rukshan doesn't drink beer. Start there.
The protest stuff.
Do you drink beer? You don't drink beer.
Here and there I drink beer. It depends. Like if
you're
I'm
not
like
a real drinker though. You're an embarrassment.
I just do gin and tonic.
You're an
the drink of the southeast, of the colonial southeast. Actually, the gin and tonic introduced by the British. But what was I saying? So if you want to find out about a protest, I think usually they pop up at some point via some type of posting, right? Usually on X. There's a lot more activity on that front. It's hard to recommend certain protests as well. I know there's a few others coming up, but we don't really.
But we never did. Like we never do. I don't think. I do stories on protests, and if I know the organisers are good, I guess, I don't challenge them. So people take that as it's a decent. I guess you just base it off the story, but I never really promote. Go to an event. I say I do say, like in this last one, if you're going to go there, and I hope if people who are there are going to stand up to the evil elements that seem to be wanting to hijack it, which was exactly what happened. But we find out about them. Look, ones that organically kind of pick up. We end up talking about them. Everyone's talking about them, and then we end up talking about going. We're going to go like now. We'll go live to these things that we think is worth it.
Yep.
Here we go.
From the real Eric, thanks, mate, for the super chat. Such friends, Dictator Dan is making Putin Z Kim that Dan. That really cared about, as was Dan Murphy's, but really it was a lot about Dan being there. Let me read that again. Oh, can you read it, Avi? Maybe you can make sense of it.
Such friends, Dictator Dan is making Putin, Xi, Kim, the Dan that really cared about, us was Dan Murphy's, but really. It says a lot about Dan being there. Yeah, so basically agreed. I don't know if he's making those friends. I feel like they were already buddies, or maybe not all of them, but it's wild.
This is from Paul Murray. Thanks for the super chat. Ben Carroll, ALP, opposed Andrews' presence, and Gabrielle Williams, ALP, distanced herself. Alan goes to China this week. Elbow waffles as usual. Well, that's what I mean. So there could be other people that aren't really in the picture with this, and maybe Albanese might have known about it earlier. I don't know. Again,
I'll use this as a segue. We'll continue super chats in a second. We'll get to all super chats, so thank you in advance, guys. But I'll that's just the perfect segue to watch Albo.
My question is to the Prime Minister. Will the Prime Minister condemn his close personal friend Daniel Andrews attending the Chinese Communist Party military parade alongside the presidents of Russia, North Korea and Iran?
The Prime Minister's got to be asked questions that he's directly responsible for. There is some difficulties. There is some difficulties with the question falling within the standing orders. If you think of it to its logical conclusion, it could be asked about any Australian. But I'm going to hear from the Leader of the House to assist.
The point of order. The fundamental rule for questions is they have to be something that the Prime Minister is officially connected with. By definition and the way that was framed, he said it's not.
If we could have the question to... All right, I'll hear from the Manager of Opposition Business.
Well, the point of order is the Prime Minister is officially connected with Australia. He is the Prime Minister. That's an official connection. It's official connection. So we've invited him to condemn a former Premier attending a foreign affairs rally, and that's the point of order.
Okay. The Prime Minister looks like he's indicating that he's okay to answer the question, but I was going to ask him to rephrase, but just a bit of a learned lesson for everyone. If we make it directly responsible for someone's responsibilities, just to help the House. But the Prime Minister has the call.
I think that point of order said it all about the question, Mr Speaker. I'm responsible for the Australian government. The Australian government did have a representative there, and the Australian government did have a representative 10 years ago. That was a minister in the government. Our government chose that that would not be the case.
No answer, nothing.
As they're saying, essentially, but it goes to exactly what we were saying. It's a perfect. If he is there on behalf of the government in an unofficial capacity, it's kind of playing both sides. He's able to say, "Well, we are not involved," but really telling the Chinese, "You can have Dan. Dan's our most respected guy."
We'll send you Dan.
And guess what? You guys will love him because he's known down under as Dictator Dan. He's literally halfway there, mate.
He could probably teach you guys some things.
God, is it bad that I'm getting to a point where I really just am beginning to beyond dislike our Prime Minister?
Well, I mean, he doesn't stand for anything. That's the problem with Albanese. He couldn't even make a strong statement on that. Whichever way. He always dodges questions. I think that's the biggest problem that Albanese has. He only gets fired up when it's, when he's attacking people or something like this, right? Or a cause that he truly believes in. He gets a bit fired up, like The Voice. He goes all in there. He starts crying, things like this. But for anything else, he dodges everything and he gets away with it for the most part. From Dan Mack, how you doing, mate? How much of Victoria's debt was injected into that? Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about our debt in general or injected into what exactly, I'm not sure what you meant, but...
Injected into China, Victorian debt. I got you. I'm just saying.
Opening doors. Not sure if this is politically correct or not, but Daniel Andrews is a wanker. That is whether it's politically or not, it's correct.
Well, it's you can use a truth defense.
Truth defense, that's right. I mean, how many golf clubs, how many pubs, how many just everyday establishments and restaurants has this man been kicked out of? Of course he has to go hide out in China now because that's the only places where he can play golf and the only places that will have him.
He's found 2 billion new victims. Gotcha. They can have him. I think we shouldn't let him back. I reckon somebody should start that petition.
Yeah, Mr. Andrews, they called him. Varan says, "Are those who stand with Dan are now anal for Al?" I don't know if that'll pick up, mate. I don't know if that'll pick up, but I see where you're going with it.
Varan, keep those super chats.
All right, he gives us super chats. We can ignore his weirdness. And Gap Media also says, China are the worst in pollution in the world. Yes, they are, and they get lots of. There's a lot of hypocrisy involved with that.
But stop. Dan said, Dan, who's never lied to us, told us that China's doing better than most.
Eric says, how long till Dan's statue gets vandalized? Well, it hasn't gone up yet, but we were saying last time they would have to put it in like a high security place, multiple cameras, like. I reckon the best thing that they could do for Dan's statue is to have it as some sort of projection or a hologram or something.
Something they can't. Yeah.
If it's a physical thing that's there, it won't last. Unfortunately, in the state of Victoria, maybe they can put it somewhere else or in some sort of left-wing suburb in Victoria. It might be a little bit safer.
In a Brunswick toilet.
Yeah, it'd probably be very safe in there.
Thank you for the super chat, Eric. Real Eric.
And this is from Isimo. I do not always agree with Alex Jones, but he always believed that Obama had policy influence after his presidency. I would not be surprised if a similar situation with Daniel Andrews is occurring. That's true. I mean, the Democratic Party relied on Obama for a long time afterwards, during the Trump presidency as well as during the Biden presidency, even probably till today, because of the relationships that he had with foreign leaders and dignitaries, and the kind of status that he had within the party. Similar thing for Daniel Andrews. I mean, he was premier in Victoria for a very long time. He's seen as a hardcore Labor zealot. I think that's the way to describe him. He goes in for the team. He dismisses anyone else. He does not care about other. You've seen him go after people. You saw him go out. You saw him call women Nazis in Victoria after those Nazis turned up at Moira Deeming's thing. Like, this guy has no compassion or sympathy for anyone else besides his own team. So yeah, he's kind of the perfect person to have there in China.
And Lizimo, is that the name?
Yeah.
Lismo. Listen, it's Alex Jones is often right because he says so much. He's right about that, I think. If you don't like what Alex Jones says, just wait till next week. He'll probably say what you agree with. Have you been watching all that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's they're putting that on him and Owen. I don't know if that's like a show thing. Like I can't. You can never know with these guys. Was it what? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of entertaining as well. The whole thing.
It's like yeah. For those that don't know what we're talking about, Owen Jones walked out in the middle, and
yes, Owen Jones. If you don't know, is like Alex Jones's who I see. He's protege,
and he quit.
So he's walked out and quit and started his own thing, and he's made some accusations, and I don't know. I don't know.
Imagine after 10 years of hanging out with Alex Jones, you're like, he's nuts.
Yeah. I'm going to have to eventually do that for Avi one day.
Yeah. I'm going to do it to Avi one day.
Avi's nuts. I'm going to write a book. Everything's going to happen, guys. Don't worry. Everyone telling me in the comments to leave Avi. That'll happen one day, and then I'll write all the stuff that you guys want me to say. I'm keeping notes.
How many times have we been like drinking or something? We're like, you know what we should do? We should just start this campaigns. Like you start a campaign, and and we just make it into a thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if Alex Jones and Owen.
Nah, because it does seem a bit genuine. And if you watch back, those clips, oh god, I'm a bit tired. Jeez. If you watch back those clips of Owen Jones in studio and Alex.
Yeah, I saw that.
Owen, yeah, and when he comes in, he does it. He annoys him. But you know what? If I have to pick a side,
I know how Owen feels. I know the feeling.
I don't know if you want to take Owen's side. I actually feel like if I'm picking somebody's side in that war, it's Alex Jones. Anyways, Jason Priestley. Thanks again. Another super chat.
Thanks, mate. Would love to buy you a gin and tonic, then, or any drink of your choosing, and I mean to attend pro-Australia or anti-Sharia protests. Okay, mate, thanks for the offer of a drink. I will not refuse a gin and tonic. I will definitely have a gin and tonic.
Oh, you've refused a few. You're the worst drinking partner. Because, like, I'm a full-blown alcoholic. You're like...
I'm very responsible. If I have any inclination that I might have to get behind the wheel, I will not drink even one glass of alcohol.
That's not it.
I will not drive even with one glass of alcohol.
But that's not it. I have a breathalyzer. You know, you've seen my breathalyzer.
I don't know. I
test. I test myself, but it's nothing to do with that. Because even when we're not going anywhere, you're weak. You're just not a proper drinker. You're a disappointment.
That's what I mean. I know what Owen went through.
Anyways, Jason, well, one day we'll take you up, and you just need a bottle, and I'll drink most of the bottle, and Rukshan will have his little tiny one that his drink. Okay, so this is what you got to know about Rukshan. Although you've changed, you haven't been doing this lately, because whenever we sit down and order, you always buy 2 drinks. You always got to have 2 different drinks next to you. Not alcohol. Yeah. I'm just talking about like soft drinks.
Yeah.
And if you're drinking alcohol, there you go. If you're drinking alcohol, it's like your gin. You'll drink 1 gin and tonic in the time that I'll have 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy my drinks.
No, you don't. And I remind you to drink it. Anyway, we'll take this off air. Domestic. This is before the breakup.
Abby, thanks for the super chat. When do we get to see the only Dan that matters, Daniel the bodyguard? And someone was saying in the comments, we need a statue for Daniel the bodyguard. That's true. I agree. If any Daniel needs a statue, it's our bodyguard Daniel.
I agree. Thanks for the super chat, Abby. Varen's back with another one, wherever it is.
Statue isn't safe. I agree.
I don't even think the device that would be projecting it would be safe. So yeah,
they should put his statue in China somewhere, and it'll be completely fine. That's what he needs to do. Get his statue commissioned in China and put it somewhere.
It's going to be
Beijing.
made in China anyways. May as well leave it there. Love it. Thanks for super chat. And one more. We need to make
Aussie reptiles. Thanks, mate, for the super chat. We need to make our country Australia again. We'll take that as a general statement. And this is something we often discuss, Avi, and we saw, of course, the March for Australia, your videos that you put out. Many people there had that same type of sentiment. And it's something that's being discussed a lot today amongst different people. And, of course, people have different opinions on it. But I think overall, most people would agree that something has changed in Australia. So there definitely needs to be a coming back to something that more people recognize as the Australia we all love. Paul Murray says, in most recent Victorian budget papers, borrowings for 2025 were 188.295 billion. That might just buy you a plate at Xi's table. Yeah. Maybe he's gone there to negotiate our debt. Who knows?
No, he's gone there to get us more. Thank you for the super chat. Real Eric says, Avi is a bad drinking influence. You know what? I try to be. And I'm usually quite successful at it. Like when I'm hanging out with mates or whatever, because I do put the pressure on, and most men, you don't have to twist their arms so hard. They really want to do it. They just, but Rukshan, he tires me out.
Control.
He tires me out, and I end up drunk myself.
Very good self-control. So that's what happens when you grow up in Dandenong and your friends all like to drink. Equity says, Daniel the bodyguard, so Avi is Whitney Houston.
Thank you for the
It was a bit like that. I mean, he's carrying you around a little bit. It is a bit of a romance, the way he's always there protecting you. And you should sing that song to him one day. That'd be so funny.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel James. Not sure if there is enough bronze in Victoria for Daniel Andrews' statue.
For Daniel Jones' statue.
Oh, Daniel Jones' statue. Yeah, that's Daniel. Yeah, I get you. That's true.
Yeah, well, we'll import it from China, Daniel.
And it's from Maxine. Thanks for the super chat. More wasted taxpayers' money. Joining the military march is a great propaganda for China and a terrible look.
It's so
for
bad.
Australia.
It's so true. That's on a serious note. That's the truth.
Yeah, look, I don't know if there was taxpayer paid. I think Daniel Andrews went there in a private.
No, I'm talking about the part. I'm talking about the. I would not put my money on that. I feel like there is third-party thing going on there.
That's why I did this private capacity.
Yeah. But when it comes to the propaganda for China and a terrible look for Australia, 110%. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, quickly before we have Daniel join us, let's just hit this story.
Jimba Price has been forced to take off the Australian flag in Parliament on National Flag Day after a complaint from a Greens senator. The senator was calling for the burning of the Australian flag to be criminalised when she was interrupted by Nick McKim. The Shadow Defence Industry Minister was then ordered to remove the flag due to a standing order which doesn't allow props.
If it's okay for Senator Nampijinpa Price to wrap herself in this flag, I would intend to wrap myself in a Palestinian flag.
The senator has criticised the interjection, arguing that props have been used in the Senate multiple times before.
You can wear a kippa in here. Perhaps you should remove that article from you whenever you walk through these chambers for the benefit of all Australians in this country. Yes, snark all you like. It's revolting. You don't love this country the way I do, certainly not like most Australians do.
I love it. She's a firebrand, but she's so right, and it's so insane that on on any day, but on the what is it, National Flag Day,
Australian Flag Day,
Australian Flag Day. The Greens' entire argument is that, and they're saying it publicly. They're telling us exactly what they think. They think if you're going to wear your Australian flag on National Australian Flag Day in our Australian Parliament, then I'm going to wear my Palestinian flag. Yeah. How is that even an argument? What point are you making that you love Palestine more than you love Australia, or that you want Palestine to dictate our law? Like, what is the point that they're trying to make? It's what they're always making, that they actually hate us. And it's to me, I mean,
that was a great mask off moment. Obviously, he was triggered by Jacinta Price. He was triggered by the flag. Before he interrupted her speaking, she had already been speaking for a few minutes. So the president in the Senate chamber, obviously they had no problem with her having the flag around her. No one really had any problem with it. She was just speaking, and it's Flag Day, Australia. But yeah, the Greens, as soon as she started talking about the reason that the pro-Palestinian movement had been burning Australian flags and so on, that's when he interjected. He got a bit triggered. He got up and said, "This is a prop. I'm going to wear the Palestinian flag. How are you going to like that?" And these are the Greens. Just in the last couple of months ago, one of the Green senators bought a dead fish. I don't know if you can bring up that picture on Google. Senator Hanson Young, he bought in a dead fish and held it up in the Senate, and that's a prop. They don't have problems with their props, but they got so triggered by the Australian flag that they had to get up.
And even the keffiyeh, they were always wearing.
Well, I mean, look, the keffiyeh item of clothing, maybe a scarf,
but it was.
Yes, it's got political symbology. You can call it a prop.
But you can say here. We've got the clip of that. Give me 2 seconds. Let me get it. This is
second supplementary. Thank you. Australian Conservation Foundation, the Australian Marine Conservation Society, WWF, Greenpeace, the Australia Institute, they've all condemned these laws. On the eve of the election, have you sold out your environment credentials for a rotten, stinking extinction salmon? Extinction salmon.
And he's right behind her. He's right behind her. He's a part of it.
He's full of crap, this guy. They use props all the time, the Greens. They'll bring in dead fish to prove a point about their climate nonsense. But as soon as they see the Australian flag, they get so incensed to interrupt. Unlike you said, Avi, Australian Flag Day, they interrupt. Beyond that, let's say he just said, okay, you can't bring in props. But what did he do instead of just saying you're against, you can't do this in the chamber? What did he say? He said, if she can do that, I'm going to bring in the Palestinian flag and wear that. And this is an Australian senator, so-called. The Greens, like in the comments I'm seeing here, they're vile, they're disgusting, they're anti-Australian. If they could have the Australian flag removed from the top of Parliament and have the Palestinian flag placed on top of it, they would do that right now. That's 100%. The party that we're dealing with. And it was the party of Hamas. And you saw during the elections how obsessed they were. And I'm sorry, this is who they are. This is exactly who they are. And if you're voting for these guys, they are not Australia first in any way or shape or form.
They are literally Australia last. They are Australia last. They actually campaign that they want to abolish Australia. So I think our system, that's the flaw. That's what's flawed with our system, is the fact that when you have a democracy, and then you start getting, ideas that are anti your own system become popular, they vote them in and they end up destroying your system from within. And it's almost like I feel like there has to be some sort of safeguard to protect our country from these forces that hate us. Why should you be allowed to serve in our parliament if you don't believe in our country, in our system, in our legitimacy? You shouldn't be allowed. I don't think you should be allowed to serve in that if you don't believe in it. And like Lydia Thorpe, she stands up there, refuses to give the oath. All that kind of behaviour. If you don't swear allegiance to this country, they have all these rules about you can't be a dual citizen, which I agree. As a dual citizen, I don't think you should be able to serve in Parliament. and I'm down with that. Cool, totally get it. At the same time, I also think there has to be a minimum requirement, minimum, that I'm not even saying you have to love everything about the country. I'm saying you just have to not want to destroy it.
Yeah.
These guys are all on the public record on campaigning that they want to destroy it.
The argument against that people make is that they've been elected in there by people who choose to support their
exactly,
views,
and that's why I'm saying that. But that's why I'm saying to you
citizens.
that's what's flawed with our system. Because what happens when they get enough to tip things over the edge, then our system is destroyed. They get what they want. If their entire, it's like a invasion by stealth. Like you bring in enough people that have a certain ideology that goes against the ideology of the country, then you're going to end up, if you import that kind of ideology, so it comes with a couple of ideologies, like whether it's Islamist ideologies or whether it's far leftist Marxist ideologies, like, and the thing is right now, those two groups are kind of working together. They're both looking at each other. Well, I think the Islamists are looking at those Marxists as useful idiots to further their agenda. But then once the Islamists have enough, of a voting power, they're going to one step before the tallest building to throw them off. But it is a problem, and it's a problem that you see in Europe, in the UK, that they grapple with in many areas where it's become third world kind of shitholes because the problem is that the majority there have become something else, and they're going backwards into 7th century style governance in different areas, and you're going to see that. Like, imagine that on a national level at some point. The Greens, the Greens, what do they poll at? Like, well, they've dropped dramatically, thank goodness, because everybody saw Australia actually rejected their pro-Hamas thing. But let's say they poll at about 11%, and that's growing. And the problem is, if you want to be in the system, but you say you want to destroy the system, then why are we letting you in the system?
Yeah.
If you're only in the system to exploit it and destroy it, because that's the two things they're doing. They're exploiting it by getting paid by it. That's what's just so funny to me. You have all these people who don't believe in it, but they take their pay raises, they take their paychecks, their holidays, they take it all. Their perks, they take it all and more. But then their entire objective there is to destroy it. Just before we go to Daniel, who's waiting patiently in the room, let's just quickly watch this. Daniel Andrews responding to this thing. I forgot to play that one.
Daniel Andrews has responded to that stinging criticism after he appeared side by side with dictators in Beijing. But while Jacinta Allen is carefully staying out of the public eye, her deputy Ben Carroll hasn't held back. State political reporter Heidi Murphy.
For this current Victorian political leader, the photo shoot with dictators was too much.
They represent everything we stand against, and we should always never stand with them, always stand against them.
And while it may boost Mr Andrews' reputation in China,
is it worth it for self-interested business purposes to be having a photo standing behind Kim Jong and Vladimir Putin? It's not worth that photo.
It's unlikely to be worth the political headache for others either.
Will the Prime Minister show the necessary leadership to join with us and so many other Labor leaders in this condemnation?
I am not responsible for what every Australian citizen does.
Even when that citizen publicly spruiks their close ties in state media interviews.
My good friend, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and his team, we have stabilised, normalised and then stabilised the Australia-China relationship.
Another Allen government minister was trying to distance herself.
That was a decision that he made as a private citizen, and I'm not here to speak for him today or any day.
Daniel Andrews is a very mischievous person who understands exactly what he's doing at all times.
The current Premier will only say it is good for Victoria that Daniel Andrews is held in such high regard by the people of China.
Yesterday wasn't good. Yesterday was far from good.
This controversy is the last thing Jacinta Allen wants to face as she heads into her first trip to China as leader next weekend. 9 News has been told Daniel Andrews has no involvement, officially or otherwise, in that visit.
The relationship with China is a very important one for Victoria.
He's already done the groundwork for her. Yeah. He's laid out the groundwork. I mean, come on, we're not stupid, everyone.
All right. I know everyone's actually sick of seeing us. They really just want to see old mate Daniel make sure he's all right.
Look, he's even too big for the camera.
Hold on, just.
Listen, he's a giant amongst men.
Hang on. Is that a bit better?
Maybe put your face in the middle. Face up. Listen, we don't hire him for his photography abilities.
Maybe that'll work.
Jesus, Daniel just punched his phone live. You've seen it here first. He's just beat up his own phone.
Hey, you're not on the job right now, mate. You're not on the job.
Guys, I think it looks like he's already doing work, so we're going to have to pay him for this time that he's protecting us from his own phone. So chuck some super chats for Daniel. Guys, if you have any questions or any words of support to Daniel, now's your super chat. We'll read all the super chats before we let Daniel go. So super chat away to Daniel. Daniel, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you guys doing?
We're good, man. Good. We feel safer now that you're in the middle of both of us. I feel a lot safer already.
I cannot get my head in the center of the camera.
I think that's a problem with your head.
It looks good for us.
Yeah, it looks good. Just don't move. Don't move. It's a big head.
I try not to.
How are you feeling, Daniel? A lot of people ask me how you're feeling. I just so you know, because I've been telling you every day it's going to be the next day, and I know one of the things that you're most excited to always go and watch is the final products of your master work in life. It's going to look good. The final video, it's got a lot in there. I've put a lot of extra little bits that I'm mixing around from the day. So all the bits that you didn't see in the last video that you remember happened on the day or don't, that's going to be in that final video. But how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was fine. I wasn't too fussed about any of it at all. I've spent a bit of a career working in strip clubs on King Street in the CBD in Richmond. I've done picket lines for union protests and stuff. Wasn't too concerned, to be honest. I've worked rougher jobs.
Yeah, like I was watching back that you did get a couple of pretty nice, like I'm not encouraging violence, but when you were attacked, there was a couple of nice, what will we call it? Self-defense maneuvers into the opponent's faces. In fact, there was one of the guys that I saw, I see in the footage, has a discoloured kind of eye area. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I might have hit a couple of eyes and a bit of this and a bit of that. It's got a bit hectic and chaotic. I know at one stage we were in a clinch, and I know I did stick a finger in an eye, so just to get him off me. So, is what it is.
Were you at all worried at any part of what happened on that day?
Look, I am very concerned that the Nazis feel emboldened enough, to go out and just wantonly attack people as if it's all right to do, as if there will be no consequence, no repercussions, like they just don't care. But we've spoken about this in private, where I've said, oh, look, they're not violent at the moment, but we've always both agreed, yeah, look, the likelihood when they feel emboldened with numbers that they would get as violent as the left was a very high probability. And Sunday, we just saw that. It just proved, vindicated that point, that when they feel like they can get away with it, if they feel like the law won't touch them for it, if they feel like other people are going to support them and they have the numbers, they're going to get violent.
Yeah, and that really stood out to me because, we've been to many protests that they were at. They never turned violent, but they were always the minority. So the left, the guys that look like them, you were at that protest, the Nazis versus the Anti-Far back, before October 7, where I actually kind of interviewed both sides. And yeah, you were, because I got hit with the pole and you ran in to deal with those guys. And but then we went around and I ended up interviewing Saul. He wasn't very happy with the interview, whatever, don't care. But I did give him credit for one thing, and I did make the point at the time that it's interesting that the only side that actually hit a Jew was the anti-fascists. But I did also say at that point that I wonder if it's because they didn't have the numbers yet and they weren't that empowered. And I think what we saw on Sunday is that it's exactly that. Now that they feel like they had the numbers, because even on Sunday itself, what I noticed. So when they and this will all become clear from the footage with all the angles that we have. But when they came up to us and tried to move me on and assaulted you and then attacked and all that first assault or attempt to remove us from the area, they did it, and we kind of moved back. You fought back. We got to a bit of a safer spot. People rallied around us, and then when we went, and they told us we're not welcome to go in there or whatever. But then when we went back in, and because people rallied around us, and they suddenly, because when it was just us, like it was just really two security, and then Rook, and so two cameras, like Rukshan and me were kind of the targets. Rukshan's just by default. Oh no, although they don't like Indians as well, so it was me and Rukshan were the target.
It was,
and then
they made that clear, but they did give me a warning.
Really juvenile, flush the poo.
Yeah.
I think they gave me a warning. They gave me a warning, because one of the guys rushed me and said, "Rukshan, get out, move back, Rukshan." It was almost like we're letting the brown guy off today, and we're after Avi today.
But then I saw, like, when we went back there, and we were there for a long while, where they wouldn't try it again. They didn't, because we had, I guess in their eyes, reinforcements, people that came and surrounded us, including veterans that said, "No, we're here. Avi's here. This team is staying here. They're not going anywhere." And then they ended up packing up and moving away themselves. And then they kind of stayed their distance. That's what you see through the whole thing. They stayed their distance. We had every once in a while, including that guy, tap me on the head with the pole and then deny it. And do you remember that scenario towards the end?
Smart-ass little bastard.
You know what, though? In that moment when that happened, and he was complete, because you were convinced he hit me, right? Or did you see it, or you saw it on your peripheral?
More the peripheral. I caught it out the corner, and I saw the dart and the flash, and I just followed the flash. And he was at the end of that flash. So
because on the live stream, when you watch it on the live stream, you don't see it. You don't, like, you only see you reacting and tackling him, and then he's just denying it, and he was just so. To me, I must be super naive, because I was convinced that I'm like, because I even said to you, I go, "Daniel, you sure it was him?" Because it was just, he was just so adamant that he didn't touch me. And then when we've pulled up the other cameras now, you'll see he did it. He just did it. And then as soon as you tackled him, he lied straight. And he, in fact, on the camera, he goes, "Yeah, go look at the camera." Like, what?
Well, we have looked at the camera, mate.
But who would have thought Nazis would just be willing to lie so brazenly?
Oh, look, if you got a 6 foot, 220 kilo guy running at you, it's amazing how quickly people reassess their life decisions. It's, I guess he knew his behaviour was questionable, and he didn't want that behaviour to be modified. Put it nicely.
Did you wake up with any pain?
No. I had like this tiny little sort of bruise on the top of the eye, but and I'm one of those people, you couldn't feel it, you couldn't really see it, and then the bruise ended up worse because I'm hopeless. I kept pushing it. And then I think I made it worse myself.
Yeah. He picked a fight with his own wounds. That's how nuts Daniel is.
There was that one guy, Daniel, that you guys were kind of wrestling, some sort of, you were locked in for a little bit of time. how did that kind of how did you get out of that position?
I threw him on the
couldn't
ground,
tell.
I think, on the...
I shoved some fingers in his eyes, and then I think I pushed the arm up and just sort of slipped out from under and got him in a clinch. And I just sort of decided, well, I've got one of them. He's coming with me. We're moving back where it's a bit safer. And I'm like, well, he's coming with us. That's the end of the story. So I had him by the head and kept pulling him back so we could get back to safety. And like I said, he was coming with us. The only reason I fell over ended up being because I had him so hard by the head that when they pulled their guy out and he managed to slip his head out of my arm, I was leaning back so much, pulling him with so much force that once I didn't have him to hold me up, I went boop and fell back on my backside.
Oh,
It happens.
Yeah. Because when you're kind of coming back out of it, you do kind of like stumble back.
I thought that photo was a great photo, like on the edge. Just kind
must be
of
happy with that.
I'm in discussions with my wife about that photo. She's said no at the moment.
What-
but I wanted to blow it up, a nice big copy, and put it on the bedroom wall, right in front of the
bedroom wall.
That's
Why the
it.
bedroom
Why not tattoo?
I might get it tattooed across my back.
No, her.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'll ask her. She might. I don't think she will. But I'll suggest it.
It's such a good photo here. We've got a couple of super chats for you guys. If you have any questions for Daniel or any statements to Daniel, I'm going to skip over the other super chats for now because we've got Daniel here. And I know Daniel's far more popular than me when we hang out, so I'm sure many of you have things to say to him. We got Equity has a Daniel Beer Fund going.
Oh, well, after you were speaking about beer, I
got thirsty.
Had to go grab one.
Nice.
Now
yeah, Travis Fimmel from Vikings. It's his brand apparently, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Is it good?
Yeah, it goes down pretty easy.
Is there ever a beer that doesn't?
Oh, there's a few that are a bit shocking.
Okay, I was just checking.
I probably shouldn't say this coming from Melbourne, but Melbourne bitter's a bit. VB's good though.
So Cuppa Time says, thanks Daniel for watching over Avi and Rukshan. Although, to be fair, you are on strict orders to let them have Rukshan, right?
I sense that sometimes. I sense that sometimes. I'm glad I made a deal with the other security to look out for me because I did have that feeling that Daniel was going to betray me. just push me in there.
I got to tell you, I've got a few offers of people who want to join the security detail. So at the moment we're building the security fund so we can hire. I'm talking about like licensed security guys.
Talking of which, I'm not going to drop names on this live feed, but I have had some security who got onto me who were very displeased about the Nazis. The message was something along the lines of, next time you feel like you're going to run into the Nazis, let me know for the security detail and I'll be down. Now, some of these guards, without saying too much, are very, very high up in the industry, very well-respected people. They're people who I consider personal friends and mentors. So there is a lot of support behind you guys. There's a lot of support behind me. There's a lot of support behind the team that I get privately from other guards. And there is a lot of dislike for the neo-Nazis. A lot of people were not impressed.
I think a lot of people, and that goes beyond the security side. Look, I think most people were shocked clearly by the Nazis' behaviour across the city the entire day because, we only experienced that because that's what we saw, and then we were kind of on the receiving end of it. We were one of their targets, but it wasn't just us, and they went around literally attacking people throughout the day. Who were just clearly not doing anything. Some people were fighting them. That's fine, Antifa, and I think people would have had a much less of a problem if the Nazis were just fighting Antifa. In fact, we'd probably be rooting for both sides to win and lose. But
well,
they were.
A lot of people have said that. Like when they attacked Camp Sovereignty, a lot of people said, "Well, we know there's a lot of far left elements there. Couldn't care either way." There's no love lost for either side of the extreme, I found, like extreme right with the Nazis or left. I know people argue the Nazis are extreme left as well. I don't want to get into semantics, but my point is, between the Nazis and Antifa, there is certainly no love lost between the average, ordinary Australian who just couldn't give a damn either way. Have at it. Let them beat the crap out of each other, and who wins?
Yeah.
Society wins.
It reminds me of like the football hooligans in the UK. It's like they have a whole culture of planned fighting each other. No one really cares because it's like it's consensual. You guys want to have at it, go have at it. But as soon as you start running around the city targeting people or targeting journalists or targeting security details or like thinking you're above the law and only doing it when you think you are more powerful, because as soon as and I think that's an important point here, is as soon it was so funny how they were calling me a coward, but like those guys literally were only willing to do it when they had numbers, and then they were telling me to stop hiding behind my security. It's like, okay, you know, you guys are so brave, you work in packs. And literally all the footage of them that day is multiple people, multiple people on one, you know. They were chanting at me for being a woman basher. That's what they were chanting at me. Like,
and then they went and bashed a woman 4-on-1 with a couple of poles and stuff.
Exactly. Like these guys, these guys are the biggest hypocrites. There's nothing about them that's genuine. And beyond that, even in the videos that I'm like when we're editing the footage, they're screaming out there, chanting that I'm subversive. And it's like, dude, you guys literally subverted the entire rally. You didn't. In fact, after Saul is saying he was one of the co-organisers and
he organised the podium or something like that. Or
well, you see, the podium is the exact one they had in the Nazi thing. So it was all them, right? But they subverted it. The thing that they claimed on that day that I was doing, that I was subverting literally. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I say exactly what I believe and stand in, and I go and I said that I'm coming there. But these guys are exactly everything they claim everyone else is. All right, let's read this a couple more for you. You have a few minutes?
I was going to say about the whole thing with their hypocrisy in that. I think one thing worth pointing out that I find absolutely hilarious was it a few weeks ago at the Christian rally where Joel Davis got kicked out? Well, you see, Tom rushed up to you, and really it was an emulation
of what?
It was a repeat, like a tit for tat. It was a very childish. He was itching for that moment, for that tit for tat. Well, you kicked my boy out, I'm going to kick you out. It was really emotionally childish on their part, like a tit-for-tat revenge thing. And another thing I found funny was when I had to put those members on the ground for being aggressive that day. So you got these kids yelling at me, "Oh, you bash old people." Now, how old would have that guy been? Late 40s, early 50s, maybe. Now, these kids yelling this out to me would have been early 20s at best, yeah? Keep that in mind. Now, I'm not a spring chicken. I don't tell people my age, but I'm 43 years old. So these young 20-year-olds yelling at me, "Oh, you bash old people." Then they had 5 or 6 of them on me. And it's like, hang on, you have 5 or 6 young 20-year-olds on a 43-year-old. There's a bigger age difference between you kids and me and this one bloke. Which I found funny. And then, it took 5 or 6 years and you still couldn't stop me or put me on my ass. Look, I just want to point that out, that childish behaviour from them.
I think and even going further than that, to your point, is that same. So all the people that came out online in defence of them, angry that they got kicked out, angry at my role in it, suddenly we're all defending them again. When the tables were turned and they actually got violent. Like, Chris over
But it's not even,
I know we have to talk about
Chris, but it's not even that. I want to tell you this on that same point before I lose his thought. The organizer that day, Nick Patterson, didn't want this group punishing his Christian rally.
Exactly.
Whereas at
That
the
is true.
March for Australia, well, apparently there was no organizer.
Yeah.
So either the NSN were the organizers and they were dictating, which a lot of people.
They were trying to say they were, yeah.
Exactly. So
but at the other one, it was the organizer who put their name to it, who is an anti-Nazi, didn't want them at the rally, and they gate crashed it and he kicked him out. Here, there was no organizer, and the thing is, even Ozpil was not really the organizer. I know he's trying to take credit online. I know that some people give him credit. He promoted it, he pushed it, but it was an organic thing that was announced on some random TikTok that literally generated so much publicity, and then all these nefarious characters jumped on board and tried to make it their own. But the National Socialists were just organising the podium, and they had their own secret plans, and they all got... It was so funny watching them dress in black. There's the footage Channel 9 got of them getting dressed around the corner and undressed. Like, they're
really? I haven't seen that.
They're so lame and sad. Like, they're such little weird kids.
I do find it funny because where you say the left, and I've seen it online, we're anti-fascists, we fight Nazis. You do things in groups like little cowards, just like the Nazis, and you hide your faces just like them. Me, you know who I am, you know where I am. I took them on my own, I don't give a damn. But what I found is funny is all these leftists now defending the Nazis, even though they are so anti-Nazi. I see them online and they're all like, oh, it's good to see you copped a bouting. Oh, you got what you deserved. You copped it real hard. And I've been sitting here laughing at every comment, and I'm like, hang on, boys. If you think that was a bouting and you think that was hard, you must be softer than a pensioner's turd, because, Avi, I trained with ex-IDF guys, ex-Israeli police guys. I've trained with ex-Israeli special forces from Yemen unit. You're talking some serious stuff. So when you get hit by some of these people, you've been hit. It's not a joke. And then you got all these people going, oh, you've copped a hiding. I'm like, no, I've been hit harder by girls at training. So a lot of these people, the lefties who are standing up for the Nazis, man, you must all be pretty soft, because from what I saw in the video so far, it was assault, but I wouldn't call it a flogging. I walked away with very minimal injuries. Like I said, I made it worse myself poking at it.
Well, you didn't slow down that day, and we thank you for that. You didn't, you were happy to go straight back in. And then we had, there was more interactions through the days, and I think they got a bit of a shock. You could see in the footage, when there was one punch. So there was one great contact you got, but then there was one nice one that the other security got right in the guy's face, and you see him kind of stunned. But it's like it was soft because that guy can fight. The other security can fight. Just was going very gentle. I wouldn't
want to be punched by the other security. It's I've seen in videos of him punching people. I've taken some pretty hard punches. I wouldn't want to be punched.
No, he goes to me. He goes, I was just looking at him, and they were all just kids. I felt like if I actually punched him, they were going to die.
They probably would have.
They probably would. And he was a lot softer about it. But then I think he thinks today, I really should have just sorted out Saul at first, because you would have just been a national hero. The first time, I mean, that he assaulted, because it all started with Saul essentially, technically assaulting me by trying to grab me out. Anyways,
of which he had no real legal authority, and that's the big thing with the Nazis that they don't understand. They try to emulate other people, like kicking out and that, but they don't really understand the law, the nuances of the law, the dynamics, and they just get themselves into trouble by, as we see, unlawfully assaulting people. Even that Asian kid we saw. And I remember he ran up to you and he's like, oh, the Nazis are in there. And he goes, I didn't even engage with them. And they just kicked me and started yelling deport. So they were basically just picking on people on their own.
Yeah.
You know,
again, like they were chanting at me that I'm a coward, but those guys are the biggest cowards. All right, let's read a couple more of these super chats to Daniel. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night reading super chats to Daniel, and you're just not going to be able to go to sleep tonight. You're going to be having a drink. So we got from Thomas. Daniel, thank you for keeping Avi safe. I like how he kept Rukshan out of it. How do you feel with the hate from people that surround you and Avi? Do people ever target you directly? Well, they did that day as well.
They did. Yeah,
I think they hate you almost.
They obviously took it very personal the other day when I put one of their members on the ground since he, for being aggressive, just because it was safer for everyone. I think that's. I do occasionally get targeted personally by the left even. They know who I am. But I think the worst targeting I've ever had personally was definitely the Nazis.
Let's see. Where was I? I've just got to... Oh, we got here. Jimmel's got a comment for you. Just says, watch the whole thing. Fantastic security with Daniel there. Take that as a comment. Thanks for the super chat, and I absolutely concur. I'm just trying to skip the ones that aren't for Daniel because we'll read them after. Daniel, so Yeet, thanks for the super chat, says, Daniel, what's it like being a security at a strip club? Did you get rowdy crowd often? Also, shout out to you, Daniel, on that March for Australia.
Thank you. Look, everyone, I used to get a laugh working at the strip club. We'd just play games with people a lot of the time. Like, one stage we had this big black security guard I'm mates with. You might have met him the other day at my house. And people used to say things to us, they're like, how do you get a job here? They go, look, no full red-blooded male could work at a strip club. We're all homosexual. Then I'd point at the big black guy and be like, especially him. People would ask, like, I've just got my security license. How do you get a job at a strip club? You've just broken the first rule. The first rule is to get a job at a strip club is you do not ask for a job at the strip club. They've gone, well, how did you get the job here? I went, where the fuck do you think I got the job here? I asked for it. And they just look at me like, what? You just said not to do that. It was fun. It gets rowdy from time to time. Not very often if you're good at your job. You tune out, to be honest. You get so used to seeing everything that it just tune out. You stop paying attention to all the girls. You get used to it.
Baslin says, I like Daniel's methods of persuasion. Thank you for the super chat. Take that as a comment. Lisa, welcome to the super chat tonight, Lisa. Lisa says, towards Daniel's next box of Habanos, Romeo, White, Juliet, Churchill, rolled, she's talking about your cigars, rolled on the thighs of virgins, apparently. I mean the cigars, obviously.
Yeah, this one is a Romeo Juliet one.
Romeo Juliet,
Habanos, yeah, I've got a bunch of other ones, but I thought I'd go with this one today.
I didn't even know you smoke cigars. You're not a smoker, though, are you?
No, I used to smoke. I gave up mid-20s, I think. It's nearly 20-odd years ago, just under 20 years ago now. But, yeah, I used to be a really bad smoker. I would wake up every couple of hours in bed, roll over, light a smoke, had an ashtray next to the bed. It was pretty feral, really.
Here we go. Yo ho. Says, Daniel, how tall are you? Keep up the good work. How tall are you?
About 6'2", 6'2" or 6'3", I think. I don't know. I haven't measured myself since I was about 15, but it was about 6'2" or 6'3" ish.
I haven't measured myself since I was 15 either. They don't make short height things like that. Because whenever I go to ask for a measuring tape, they laughed. Make that picture a statue, says 200 SX. That should be the statue. That should be the statue instead of Dan Andrews. Thanks for the super chat.
I might get a statue made up and put it in the front of my house.
Right below the flag. Abby says, do you think the Nazis would have backed off Avi if he wore his pink tutu to the march?
I think they would have liked it more.
Yeah, they are, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they are 100%
I think I would have been
gay.
touched in different ways.
They are for sure most... Okay, so I could tell you that the breakdown of that group is like very gay and a bunch of cops. Like who else? Which other group of guys all get dressed together, matching, like for fun? Like a group of friends that do that. They are for sure gay.
You're going to have to send me the link to that footage of them getting changed around the corner.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that, to be honest.
I will send it to you. It might have been the Sydney ones though. Might have been the Sydney group. The Sydney group. Channel 9 had it. They followed them as they, mind you, Channel 9 in Sydney did a decent report. I got to give them that on the march for Australia, for their one. That was the one in the entire country decent report. I don't know what Beck Friedman did to the reporter there, but all I know is they gave it a good rap, and it was pretty funny. The real Eric says, consider the super chat as an addition to Daniel's beer fund. Well deserved. Well,
Thank you.
Looks like you're getting a few beers here. Ben says, I don't know what. Babette sharing Nazi fights with Antifa. Thoughts? What was Babette? Was Babette sharing fights with Antifa now?
Can't comment. I haven't seen it.
NSN released a video of them approaching
I saw
in the
that.
street. You know that whole video about how they got the police escort. So as they were coming up from Alexandria Gardens up the steps onto
they started punching
Swanston
on
Street, they started punching on with the Antifa who walked up to them, or who were ready. I don't know what exactly transpired for that situation to occur, but yeah, both groups joined and clashed with each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's talking about that video.
Yeah, okay. I did my bet share that.
I think he said NSN versus Antifa, who would win or something like this.
I was going to say, what was the question he left hanging there? Because that's Babette's style now. He doesn't ever make statements anymore. He just asks questions. Carly Murphy says, I'm helping with Melbs on the 13th. Can we borrow Daniel and his mates? Please hit me up. Thanks for the super chat. If you seriously want to hire Daniel, shoot me through or Daniel, do you have an email you want to give, or do other people just message me and I'll message you?
No, you can probably catch me at admin@tacticalforcecombatives.com.au. I'll have to check the calendar. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I think I've got something on it the 13th, but I would have to check, to be honest.
Anyways, there you go. That's Daniel's email if you want to hit him up for security work, but don't take a day that I need him because that's annoying. We've got... Regina says, 43, you're a spring chicken, laugh out loud.
Yeah, some people tell me that. I've got mates in the security industry that are in their 60s, and they're like, mate, you're still pretty young.
It's all relative.
Bit of going, yeah. And I'm like,
but to the point you were making, to a 20-year-old, you're an old man, and you double their age, more than double their age. Plus, the more important point you're making is that they, on one hand, attack you for targeting an old man
And then they do the same.
and who has less difference between you and him than you and them. So, Daniel, what is this the most dangerous work you do?
Yeah, probably at the moment. I've done similar dangerous work, different jobs here and there. I've done some pretty sketchy, hairy jobs before.
We're not talking about your shaving routine.
Oh, the amount of cuts I put on my head at times. At the moment, I actually don't do a lot of security at the moment. So, yeah, the protests would be the most dangerous work I'm doing currently, because my other job is incredibly safe and cushy, so I can't complain about that one.
There's a few more here. The stupidity, the real Eric says, the stupidity of some to pick a fight with a giant such as Daniel. Even the size difference between Avi and Daniel is massive. Well, Daniel's a behemoth, but the funny thing is that they took their chances when it was really just the two of them, when there was only two security there, and we weren't fully surrounded by people. And even then, like you said, as we moved back, they couldn't take you down. They couldn't. They were a bit surprised and they were a bit stunned when many of them were like a few of them you see in the footage looking at Gull and kind of trying it, but then that one that he had punched was because he was kicking you from the side, and Gull's just gone bang, and he's just been stunned. And then they were just like looking at they. I think there was two layers to him. I think firstly they didn't know who he was, and they probably would have been more scared if they knew who he was. But they didn't know who he was, and they also would have this vendetta against you for what happened with him, but just in general, I think because you're my security guy. They know that, and you've had so many like videos of dealing with people trying to attack me. So they kind of wanted to destroy that reputation, but I think all they managed to do, and once the video already, because people have seen like the raw
they just
live
made
footage,
it a bit more notorious. They
exactly.
really didn't tarnish that reputation at all.
No.
The only people talking shit online are the people that talk shit from fake accounts that are too scared to have a shot and show their face anyway. So nothing's changed. If anything, I found more people have messaged me with support. I've had some people actually message me like, look, didn't really like you in the past, but you've grown on me. I saw what happened. You held your own. You didn't back down. And yeah, we've got respect for that one. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. If anything, it's just showed that, that we're not going to back down just because they throw a few punches. You're dealing with security. Like, that's our job. You're not just going to get to throw a few punches and have security go, they touched me on the face. I think I'm done for today. It doesn't work like that.
What do we got here? Have you seen Mr. Sickhand's video in the rally in Perth? He gets both sides and gets attacked by the crazy lefties. That's pretty funny. You see, and that's why I imagine I'm going to watch it because a few people have commented. I think Stevie, thanks for the super chat, Nick. But Stevie also said the same. G'day, legends. Check out Mr. Sickhands. That's that. He's quite funny. He's Sri Lankan, that guy, I think. No? Is he Sri Lankan?
He's one of a variation of us. I think I'm not sure exactly if he's Sri Lankan, but yeah.
And he rallying Perth. Apparently, he spoke to both sides, and then he got attacked by the lefties. But which was very much the kind of like how I would have thought it would play. It would play out, but that's how it plays out until the Nazis have enough. So in Perth, they clearly don't have enough to feel emboldened like the left. The left, the left get violent sooner. But it's just a numbers game because they are literally identical. Because even the left, like like I'll give you an example on that day. Do you remember when we were walking past and there was those lefties always all like being pepper sprayed, and I kind of walked up and there was that girl there, and I'm like, oh hey, what happened there? And she's like, oh, you got very nice eye features or something, eyebrows or something. Like she was just not answering, and she was just, and I go, oh yeah, it must be my Middle Eastern, complexion or something. I don't know, because she's I think Turkish or something. Apparently, somebody told me later, and she goes, yeah, like mine or something. I'm like, oh, yeah. And I tried to be, and anyway, she was like polite, but no, just not engaging in that stuff. But then and so that was when she felt like they were outnumbered. And this is the point of me telling this part of the story. They felt like they were outnumbered, and they were slightly worried that the group that I was with was going to turn on them or something, right? But I was just trying to literally find out what was going on. I'll talk to the lefties that had been pepper sprayed to find out what happened. And then when we go around the corner and we get caught in the mob of lefties, she's come back and now she's got a megaphone and she's screaming, refugees are welcome here, Avi is not. She's the one that was chanting that on the thing and really abusive.
We were 500 metres up the road and they were still yelling it out.
Yeah, but that's how they are, and that's how those Nazis are as well. Like they're fine when they're in small numbers, but I guess that's how everyone is. Like all bullies are like that. The Islamists are like that.
Cowardly.
Very
cowardly. Funny thing is, I actually had a pocket full of no tears shampoo that would have helped with that OC spray in the eyes, and I sort of saw him down there washing the people's eyes out, and I thought, oh, should I get it out and give them a quick squirt in the eye because it'll make their life a bit easier and a bit less painful? And then the thought went through my mind, nah, fuck them. Let them burn.
Can't trust them, bro. Can't trust
them.
Daniel, was Rook a worker at your work? LOL.
The strip club.
I presume they mean Rukshan.
I was not a former stripper. I was not a former stripper.
Or was there another Rook at your work? Was there a girl called Rook?
Oh, there was lots of girls. I can't remember them all, to be honest. We did have one, funnily enough, at the Christian rally, and she come up and she goes, oh, remember me from here? And I went, oh, yeah, I do remember now.
She was at the Christian rally.
She was with she was one of the ones her husband come up and got a selfie with you.
So is she a born again, or she just does that and she's not Christian? I'm so confused.
I don't think she's worked for a long time in that field. Look, I don't know. The funny thing with working in the strip clubs was you got the weirdest mix of people. Like, it was strange. You got a really weird mix of people. It was interesting, that's for sure.
Okay, that one. We've got one more for Daniel here. Guys, if you have any super chats for Daniel, put him through now because we're going to let him go in a minute. Dan, look after Carly. She has a big Aussie heart. That must have been the one who was asking about the 13th.
Security for the 13th, yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you guys a secret about Daniel. He looks after everyone, so you don't have to worry. You see,
except
he
almost... Except for lefties with OC.
I was going to say, he even considered helping the enemy. Miss Spencer says, yeah, nah, F them all. No clear eyes for the lefties.
Nah, they got left. Thing is, I think when they realised who you were, they were trying to shoo us off a bit anyway. And I thought, oh, well, if you don't want our help, then
you won't get our help. So I don't know if you've seen, there is a petition for John's Saul to be deported. Did you sign that?
I haven't signed it yet, but I did find it hilarious. Well, you know, for all their rhetoric about, kick people out who aren't born here, kick out criminals that have been imported here. Well, if they're going to be held to their own standards, I suppose it's a fair petition because,
it's true.
well, it is what they're asking for. So, look, I laughed. I did see it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Cost 100K.
Over 100K, and I will tell you, I signed it.
But I think I lost the link actually because it got sent to me by someone in Signal, and it's probably deleted.
It's a lefty petition, but I still signed it.
Yeah, I figured it probably would have been, to be honest. And again, I got a laugh out of it. It's I don't know. I might sign it later just for a laugh.
Well, we do have these ongoing issues with foreigners who are criminals, and I think Thomas Sewell meets the criteria for a foreigner who's a criminal.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know him. I've never really interacted with him. I don't know that much about his personal life. From what I see, from what other people have said, he was, I think, born in New Zealand. To my knowledge, which we have been deporting people back to New Zealand, to my knowledge, with criminal histories. So he would certainly, I suppose. Was he ever? Now, I'm not sure if he was convicted of the assault on the security guard at Channel 9.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He went to jail for it.
Then I think there's a bit of a threshold too. I think is it minimum 12 months jail before you meet the threshold for deportation?
But I don't think. I think because he has Australian. If you have Australian citizenship, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm basing it off the NSN policy, which is to deport foreign criminals.
Yeah, well, they don't seem to do. They're happy to deport all, any brown people that have Australian citizenship. So I think that according to their own standard, he should be definitely.
Well, this is the problems that they do talk about, that foreigners are creating crime in Australia, and here we have a Kiwi foreigner in Australia creating crime. I believe his parents are originally South African, so he's not really native to Australia, is he? He is a foreigner in the way that they see their worldview.
Speaking of getting deported, this is the.
What are you up to, Avi, for deportation?
So apparently, it's up. Oh, you're in this, Rukshan, but you're not very deportable.
Mate, I've got the lowest vote there. I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
She can't even spell my name. This is how spastic she is. She can't even spell my name.
Who put it up?
A Syrian girl. She's she's written Australian. She was a Hezbollah girl. Australians. You can only deport one of these foreigners. Who do you choose? Drew Pavlo, Avi Yemeni, Rukshan, not Australian. Show result. 40% of people.
You guys were born in Australia, so it's.
No, but you know what? What someone noted about her poll was, Avi, the funniest thing was that most of her audience is not Australian. Like 40% of her Australian.
Yeah. Oh, that is hilarious. I'm just glad I'm winning. I don't care what it is, as long as I'm winning, I'm happy.
Well, we
I would have been upset.
Years ago, when this was at the strip club actually, and we kicked a guy out, an Indian guy. Not that it matters, but just for context, he was Indian. Now,
was he related to Rukshan?
They had a general rule. You'd have one guard of everything. So we had an African guard, we had an Italian guard, we had a Syrian guard, we had a Greek guard. And of all the guards out there of these nationalities, the guy turned around to me and he goes, "And you, go back to your own country." And every guard burst out laughing because we all looked at me and we're like, I'm the only Australian here. I'm the only one that was born in Australia here, and he's telling me to go back to my own country or go back. We just got to. And the thing is, it took the wind right out of him because he was so angry. Like, go back to your own country. And every guard born in every other sort of country has looked, and we're all just like, yeah, that's pretty funny, actually. We'll give you that one, mate.
All right, couple super chats, and then we'll let you go. Yeah, it's. I could imagine. Would Daniel consider playing Tiana from Princess and the Frog if there was a Netflix adaptation?
I have no idea what that is, but what's the pay?
Yes.
What's the pay?
Yeah,
That's all
what's
that
the pay? I've bought a property and my mortgage is a bit bigger than what I'm used to now, so I'm very uncomfortable at the moment. So what's it pay? I'll do it. Sure, if the pay's good enough, I'll do it.
Thanks for the super chat there. We got Daniel. Converse says, Daniel, what were your thoughts on the black neo-Nazi at the Christian rally you faced? That's a good question.
I feel sorry for him, to be honest. He look, I think he's got some stuff going on. I think he's just looking for a purpose and somewhere to belong. And he's being exploited by the neo-Nazis. He's an easy target for being exploited, I think. And I think it's sad because I see people like that and I think, well, what can I do to make your life a bit easier? How can we help you? How can I push you on a path to do something better for yourself? Whereas the Nazis, he sort of gravitated towards them for whatever reason. And they've just looked at him and gone, oh, opportunity knocks. How can we exploit this guy and use him and, get gotcha moments against people and have a laugh at his expense? And I feel really sorry for him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I think he's just very misguided and very easily led, and I think he's being exploited by people with nefarious intentions who are just narcissists who can use him for their own ends. And I think that's sad.
Yeah.
Catherine says, thanks for keeping our lad safe, Dan. I take that as a comment.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Rosh says, good on Daniel getting Avi to pay the premium so that us protesters get a freemium service.
See, I never discussed the pay with anyone. I sort of figure that's a private thing. But the reality is with Rebel, I actually don't charge too much because I like the job.
Daniel definitely gives us a bloody good rate, and but this week he has to get a bonus because that was some wildness. I know Daniel never say that. What was that? When are you going to talk about the 4chan and Kiwi farm suit against the UK? What, am I missing something?
That's not related.
I know, it's not related. I accidentally pulled it up.
Because I think the UK has blocked them. I didn't know they were doing a lawsuit.
Oh, 4chan. I didn't even know.
When are you going to talk?
Well, we will. MIA Down Under. We will take that on notice. I think that's something we should look at. Actually, we can talk about it very soon. In fact, Daniel, are you optimistic about our state and country or country?
Nope.
Nope.
No. With the rally, I think a lot of people had some fair points. I believe we have gone from where public servants used to be public servants for a service for the public. It's now just a self-serving thing. You look at the cost of living and that, like years ago, I used to have a lot more money in my pocket paying a mortgage and I had more disposable income. Whereas you look at the price of groceries and that now. Now, I don't know, like back when I had more disposable income, I was about 80, 85 kilos and I'm 120 kilos now. So maybe it's just that I'm eating more as well. But yeah, I think a lot of people are saying like between the rise of power bills, gas bills, water bills, cost of living, I'm not very optimistic at the moment personally because you look at the Muppets that are leading us. I mean, I don't consider them leaders at all, but they're not making decisions that are better for the country or the people. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better, personally.
That's a good observation, mate. I think that's the general consensus amongst many people that are seeing what's happening in our country and state.
Daniel, how did Dan feel squashed into Avi's little car? We talked about this the other night.
Yeah, I did watch that live feed. Was it you said something about it was like those cartoons with the little car and the big guy? It was literally like that. It was cozy. It was
very cozy.
We were squashed in.
What do you reckon about my car? Do you want to swap cars with me?
No, I like my car. I did find it funny because at one stage getting in your car, I did have some protective gear under my clothes, and I went to get in your car, and because it's so small, the protective gear just went boom right up into my throat, and I had my head wedged between protective gear and like the top of your car door, trying to squeeze my head into the door. It was pretty fun. I thought it was funny.
It was funny, and it was funny how you were trying to get me to wear the protective gear too, and I refused.
Yeah, I did mention that, and that didn't go ahead.
It's I don't like the feeling of it.
Yeah, you get very sweaty and uncomfortable.
Oh. If you could only save, so Abby says, if you could only save Avi or Rukshan, who would you save? That is a good question.
I just want to remind you, Daniel, you don't want to appear to be racist. It's very important that you answer this.
Yeah, Daniel, I just want to remind you, you don't want to appear to be anti-Semitic, do you?
Well, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I go for the Jewish person, the browner person? And it doesn't matter what I choose here. I'm going to be seen as racist. My male genetic pattern baldness is not going to help me because I know I look like a lot of the Nazis. So it wouldn't matter who I tried to save. I'm going to cop it and be called a Nazi regardless.
Oh, but yeah, you have to choose. Abby says you have to choose one, so just
if
choose.
I had to choose one, I don't know. That's a hard choice because I would do my damnedest to make sure that both people are safe.
No, don't. You're not a politician. You can't wiggle out of this one. No,
mate.
No diplomatic answer. Who are you picking?
Help the helpless Sri Lankan, Brad. Help the helpless Sri Lankan.
Well, at the end of the day, Rebel are the ones paying me, so it's going to have to be Avi.
Oh my God!
Is he?
I do. That's why I was sticking around the other with the other people just in case. Because I had a feeling it all came down to money with Daniel.
At the end, the Jews always win. Take it as a lesson in life.
Everything they say is true. It all makes sense now.
Even with the whole money thing, I know what I think it was your book launch, Avi, where you mentioned for many years I actually worked and I didn't get paid a cent.
Yeah, in the beginning, Daniel used to just do it for the love of the gig.
It was just like,
mind you,
do you want to do it? Yeah, okay, cool.
Mind you, I think I was. Mind you, back then I think I was also working for free. It was literally like just going out and doing stuff. But yeah, there was a long period there until I really joined Rebel, and it was until I joined Rebel, because even when ALA was like the political party, and then and then when I joined Rebel, we started hiring you. But I think also you got your security license. You must have officially got it around then.
I had my license from the start. I think I went out with you the first or one or two times, and I think it was after that I went and actually officially sat my Cert 3 and got my bodyguard.
I remember something like that.
And stuff, and then I progressed on for that, doing some diplomas and stuff with bodyguarding.
The long doing John says, in an Avi versus Daniel fight, who would win? I don't know if you'd call it a fight or just a bashing.
Probably Avi, to be honest. He's been in the military.
Do we get guns? Do we get guns in this fight?
I'm going to say Avi, to be honest, because I've always found when I've fought bigger guys and people are like, dude, the guy's like 150 kilos and 6'7". I'm like, yeah, okay. boom, put them on the ground, lay on top of them. Like
I'm just going to say, I'm not willing to find out.
I grab the little guys, and little guys just slip out and take off and punch me and run, and I'm like, man, fuck, he got me.
Long Dong John. I am not willing to find out.
That's pretty cool.
I am not willing to find out. That's my answer. Protest on Westgate Bridge was most powerful. Random. We'll take that as a comment. I didn't mean that for Daniel, unless he owns the. Oh, here you go. Emma Pascal says, Daniel, you should do OnlyFans. You'd make heaps.
Oh, my wife has put me up to that. She wants me to do gay and pay. You don't have to do anything.
That's really funny you say that. That's really funny you say that. Rukshan's wife also said maybe.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really considered it, to be honest. I've got a bit of fat on me at the moment. I'm a little pudgy. I'm pretty hairy. I've started getting back hair and stuff too.
People have different fetishes. Maybe that's
true.
I think when people look at you, they're probably expecting, a bit of a beast. So I don't know if it's a bad thing. Would your wife be happy with you doing OnlyFans if it's going to pay the mortgage?
I believe the conditions are as long as I'm not touching another woman.
So it can be a man. So it can be a man.
I was just about to say.
I don't know. We didn't bring that one up. Well, I don't know how comfortable I'd be with that one, to be honest.
Well, at least the...
are you a racist?
What's the pay?
What's the pay?
The boys from NSN would be subscribing, at least we know.
You'd have all 30 of them.
I did find one of their... I was looking through things
online.
You
sent me their Tinders.
I did find one of their Tinder ones, so that was...
What I found weird in that Tinder profile is that he literally puts a photo of him in the NSN. Like, bro, you're going to get heaps of chicks like that.
I did see that, and I thought...
I think he was I think he's on there to attract other boys. Why else would you do that?
Grindr might be a better option.
Yeah, I loved what Acidic says. I loved watching the big fella deal with the idiots on the weekend. Watched it back 10 times. Well, you're going to love our next video, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I know it was supposed to come out today, but there's more work in it than I thought.
I'm looking forward to seeing that video.
It'll be ready tomorrow, but I'll put it Sunday.
I should point out, I'm not privy. I don't get to see anything before it comes out. So I sit there, and if I know it's coming out, sometimes I check Rebel News, and I'm like, oh, come on, Avi, hurry up and post it.
It'll be Sunday now because there's no. By the time it's ready tomorrow, it will be too late for a Friday, and you don't post a video later than 10 a.m. on a Friday unless it's like something that is urgent for the day. And Saturday is a bit of a way, so it'll be Sunday. All right, it'll be Sunday,
So I'm just gonna have to wait then.
But it'll be good. No, I'll send you it tomorrow if you want to have once it's done. I'll send it to you.
Oh, so awesome! Yeah. No, I'd love to see it.
I'll send you once it's done. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is something. This is Baz. Baz says, "Come on, Avi, we support you." Tommy told, "Is it true?" Listen, Tommy's not known for being a liar. All right.
I've known about this. I'm not saying anything about that.
I don't even know what we're talking about. All right, Daniel.
Actually, I think it was Benji who told me about that.
Oh, well, that's one person that can't keep their mouth shut about anything.
We've got to get rid of
Benji. Don't tell Benji anything that you want to keep private.
No. He says the most outrageous shit sometimes. Inappropriate times. You know how a good comedian has perfect timing and reads the room. So the opposite of that is Benji. He almost finds the most imperfect time to say the most outrageous and inappropriate things. Daniel,
it's almost an art form.
It is an art form. Thank you on behalf of everyone. Well, you got one more. In Tiznizzle does buy Daniel a beer, would ya? Thanks for the super.
I'm good with that. Thank you.
Thanks for everything you do, keeping us safe, and like I said, not backing down. And till the next gig, I really appreciate it. We're going to a question no one asked, but I'd ask you. Once the video comes out and you've got all the evidence, you're going to the police to ensure that these guys are I think it's important to protect the public from these guys.
Yeah, well, we did have this conversation personally, and the first thing I said was, nah. Look, for me, it was another day at work. I'm all right. They gave a few shots, I gave a few, and then I sat on it for, had a sleep. A couple of days have passed, and I did have a think about it, and I thought, although it doesn't concern me that much, what I am worried about is there was a lot of people out there that were assaulted, and there is little to no evidence that they can present to the police, and these people don't have the avenue to make sure that the Nazis are held to account for their unlawful assault. So I had to think about it, and I thought, you know what? Once the video comes out, I have been collating some evidence of videos and that it's out there, just trying to get the names of some people so that if I do go and make a statement that it would be, look, here are the names of the people as well, here is the evidence. And yeah, I am heavily considering going and putting in a statement to make sure that they are held to account for the people that aren't able to do it because there wasn't the evidence. They're not as lucky as I am to have, the backing that I've got. So I am very much considering in the next couple of days or so potentially going and putting in a statement to make sure that they are held to account for those unlawful assaults so that the other people who don't have that opportunity, although they can't be charged for those assaults, can at least get some sort of, they feel like something has been done for them.
Yep. I think it's community service, so it's important. Quickly, before you go, there's another super chat for you. Cruel Intention says, props to you, Dan. I used to do the job back in my younger days, now over 50 and gotten soft, LOL. Anyway, mad respect for you keeping the cool. Thank you for that super chat, mate. Have a good night. Have a beer on us, and until the next, we've got a couple of weeks done, but I'm sure we've got some exciting stuff coming up, especially now that we've got this live streaming equipment. We want to be out and about. Yeah. That live stream was so much fun.
Oh, that equipment is mint. It's I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I don't know much about. You saw I dropped my phone for the start of this interview, but I do watch what you guys do, and I do see how it works, and I'm just like, yeah, that equipment is really good. I see how much easier it makes your job just pushing things and links come up and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's a professional setup.
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool, and we've been growing it. Look, You were around in the early days when it was just me and this thing, and not even look at that's a broken thing, but we've over time and thanks to the audience. And having said that, for those of you that want to contribute to the security fund, that is protectavi.com, or the live streaming fund is helpavi.com. Protectavi.com, helpavi.com. Either way, you're helping our funds. Thanks again, Daniel. Stay safe.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you soon.
And thank you for the job you guys do too. I just want to say I am really proud to do the work I do to help you guys. Not for the money, but because I actually honestly believe in what you guys do. We're friends. I believe in what you do. So thank you guys for what you do.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Look, keep an eye out for the Sri Lankans as well, man. Just consider picking the Sri Lankan next time. It'll go. It'll go. It'll do you
Like I said,
favors, trust me.
for the sake of answering the question, that's the answer I'll give. But the reality is, if push comes to shove, I'm doing my damnedest to make sure everybody's safe.
No, Daniel,
it's
no one
not
cares.
really a
No one
choice
cares.
of
No one
one or
cares
the
about
other. It's a
Rukshan.
choice of no. We're all walking out, and we're walking out fine.
Don't worry. No one's worried.
It's all right, mate.
Rukshan.
It's all right, mate.
It's
I'm
only
joking.
Rukshan. Good night, mate.
Good night, man.
Catch you next time.
See you, bro. Oh, that was good, man. That was he was great to get that insight. I think for everyone, just listen to him, and you see like
he's such a genuine
sometimes
guy.
you see him and you see him in that kind of his element when he's doing that work, and you be like, oh, Daniel, he's kind of this tough guy, and he's like just getting in there. But when he's speaking, like he's a well considered, soft spoken, individual that has a lot of interesting points to share. You know what I mean? Like it's not the version of Daniel that people get illustrated online. Like he's actually fully immersed in what we're doing as well in terms of understanding the work. So it's very different than having a security guard there that's just security. He actually gets what's going on around him as well, and the issues as well. So that's the point I was trying to make. Like it's not just a random security. Daniel is really invested in the country and the work that we do as well, and I think that really shines through. But yeah, I had a good rest there, guys. People were in the comments saying, "Oh, Rukshan looks like he's drunk or stoned or sleepy or something." I'm just chilling out.
He barely
I'm
does
very
anything.
tired.
All right, let's read these super chats and call it a night. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea.
Look
It's
out,
from
Avi.
Regina.
Lots of sooks here. That must have been in the comments. We like the sooks. Don't worry about it, Regina. As long as they're here, we don't mind. Appreciate your super chat, though, and appreciate you. Veran says, this was BS. Leave our flag alone. That was about the flag story. Absolutely so true. It's insane. Thanks for the super chat. Real Eric says, I understand that there is prop laws and all that in federal parliament, but how the Greens jumped on it so quick, let alone threatened to wearing a foreign flag. Totally.
Great
Totally.
point.
And the
Yeah,
hypocrisy
that's a
on
good
it. Anthony, I think it would be, says, Avi, why is George Soros funding pro-Hamas anti-Israel protests considering he is Jewish himself? So
I mean, that's never stopped him before doing stuff against Jews.
If you look at his very suspicious history in Nazi Germany, it might explain it. But there are Jews that were, the biggest enemies to the Jewish people historically have always been Jews themselves, fringe Jews, and he is the king of fringe Jews. So, there's good and there's bad of all people, that's for sure. Baz the Dark Horse says, give our love to Tommy and Carl lads on the 13 Australia. F yeah, love Jacinta. Don't know what you're talking about, Baz. What are you
Bit of he combined a bit of everything from the show.
I've lost the plot. Get off the beers, mate. Julian says, my grandfather was 800 light horse. Love you both. Amazing. Thank you to your grandfather for his service. Baran says, has anyone seen Dan Andrews and Jacinta Allen in the same room, or is it she is Dan with a wig?
I've seen those kind of pictures.
Good point. We've got to look into it. We should get Candace Owens on that one. That sounds like an investigation down her. But Porsche Marshall gave us a super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Real Eric says, hope Daniel's feeling well after the march. Oh, didn't realize that was a Daniel one. But yeah, he pretty much answered that. He was feeling well. Oh, there's a few. God bless you, Daniel. We love you, mate. Sorry, Baz, I don't know how I missed that. I think because I should have read all of them and that's it. Why are they celebrating China? They spread COVID. Why are they celebrating China? They spread COVID. That's true. Gap, thanks for the super
Never been
chat.
held accountable.
Yeah, well, Dan Andrews was happy with it, so he's gone there to celebrate it. That's probably why he's celebrating. Varan says, Daniel, thanks for keeping Avi safe. How did I miss all these ones? What's wrong with me? I'm pretty tired. Thanks for the super chat. I'm sure Daniel's still watching right now, so thanks, Daniel. Look, Avi, I know both are bad and both on the same side of the coin. But who is worse in your opinion, the neo-Nazis or the pro-Islamists left? Honestly, until this weekend, I would have said to you easily the left. Only for the violence element of it. With the left, they've always turned violent quickly. And so it's just unsafe for people. And I've always thought until this weekend that the Nazis, they don't turn violence unless somebody provokes them. But it was clear this weekend they are exactly the same. So I'd say, I don't know, they're the same to me. They're just about each other. The problem is the left is probably only more dangerous because they have the protection of the state, of the system. Everyone, like, you see the outrage about the right and you see everybody condemning it and everybody calling for their heads, and they're going to get locked up. So the state is going to deal with them, where the left is still going to be free to roam and commit the exact same offences. So the left for that reason, that's it. But from behaviour on its own, they're the same. Vickles says, hey, Avi, you're sort of the equivalent of Jerry Springer, the US talk show.
That's an insult. I would agree. I would agree.
No, I agree, because you're like one of those weird hillbillies that just banged your brother. That's what it makes you if you're on the Jerry Springer show, mate. Baz says Tommy told Avi. Don't know who's Tommy.
We don't know who's this Tommy guy we keep hearing about.
Regina says Avi and Rook are more Aussie than the some here. Regina's obviously fighting back against the trolls, the hate watchers here.
Thanks, Regina. Appreciate it.
Relax. It's just Oz versus Agenda with his 7 accounts and Chris Overees with the other 7 accounts. Akwiti says, are you boys going to London? Rukshan could run for mayor while you're there.
I'll go talk to my cousin Sadiq Khan and tell him to put me next in line to be the mayor of London. Look, I mean...
Are you going to London?
Are you going to London?
Of course I'll go to London. Who like now? Like, what's the question? I don't get what you're asking.
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about, Equity. We have no idea.
Peter Henderson says, if you lot over there don't drag John Anderson out of retirement and make him PM, you're nuts.
He is a former Deputy Prime Minister, John Anderson, and I know he's doing a podcast these days. And he's very considerate in his opinion, and he's got good views and good thoughts. But I think I don't know. I think we need a new. Like, we need a new face for Australia. We need someone to come up.
What about Babette? He wants to be PM.
Look, Babette has very, very
high ambitions,
passionate opinions about the country, and I think he deeply cares. But the system doesn't work that way. The system right now in Australia is either you're going to get a leader from within Labor or the Liberal Party.
And somebody with actual opinions and not just questions. Dun, 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 the awkward silence. All right, let's go. Just a number says you need to get a rain cover for their cameras. So that's actually pretty funny you said that, because one of the pieces of equipment that I bought was a rain cover, which was like
I think it's too small.
Cheap, but yeah, it doesn't. The problem is
I bought a garbage bin in my bag just in case. I think they work as effectively sometimes.
Yeah. So we did bring. You bought a garbage bag because the cover I bought doesn't fit.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Avi, hey Avi, would you consider interviewing Andrew Tate? Why not? I would love to see that. Yeah, I would interview him. In fact, there was one point that I almost did. I would interview him, but he wouldn't agree nowadays to do it. I would interview him because, and why not? Why I would interview him, because I'd interview pretty much anyone, but I would challenge him on a bunch of his complete bullshit, to be fair. That's what I would go. I wouldn't go after the normal stuff that everyone goes for. I would just go and point out the stuff that he just says especially when it comes to the Israel Palestine or his views on Islam. Like that's a big one for me. Like when he
I don't think he really cares. He
doesn't care, but that's why I avoided it. That's why I'm challenging him. Tommy Robinson was supposed to do a debate with him on it, and they're like childhood mates. It's funny they got this weird loyalty to each other, and I'm mates obviously with Tommy, but he doesn't really want to get challenged on that stuff because he doesn't know anything about it. Like he doesn't really know anything about the religion he's subscribed to. The real Eric, what you guys think about the investigation David Limbrick did into the machete bins, made in prisons, only costing about $4,000?
Yes, I've been following this.
I don't know.
No, he's just been looking into the machete bins in Victoria. You know, the famous machete bins that cost I think about 13-14 million all up for the program supposedly. And originally the people were saying that meant each bin cost around $300,000 to produce these metallic bins with a little slot in it.
Yeah.
But it turns out potentially they could have been manufactured in a prison by the prisoners. And
they could have been. Would have been $4,000.
And they've tracked some things. And I think even the government's put out the cost. I saw Channel 7 in a report say that bins cost around $2,500 each to $4,000. So that's the
where did that big massive figure come from?
Because people just took the figure of the entire program, which is about $14 million or something, and then divided it by the number of bins they said were going to be out there. But they're saying that cost is for the bins plus the management of collecting the machetes.
How does that cost that much?
The staff that have to work.
Some people are getting paid very well.
Yeah, obviously, like this is Victoria. There's massive kickbacks. Must be some sort of DEI program that's happening, and it sounds like that when you consider that perhaps these prison systems involved. So, there's cheap labor, right? Whoever's making if you're in prison making bins for the machetes, which is kind of like this circle of life moment where the prisoners are making the bins for the machetes. Everything is interconnected. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in another episode for sure as David Limbrick continues to do his investigations.
Intinizzle says Prime Minister Albanus, I gotta remember how to pronounce it, is friends to the Jews.
And I learned the other day that Albanese actually means from Albania. So maybe Albanese does. I don't know if it's an Italian surname, but he might have some sort of Albanian connection in his.
It says, Avi, remember that guy in 2021 with the long blonde hair who called you a Zionist shill but didn't know what it was? Laugh out loud. What do you think of him? I think that a lot more people have joined his. No one knew what we were talking about then. Now I think he's probably got more people in his camp of calling people Zionists. There's a funny one on the other day where he's calling me a Zionist. Did you see that? You remember that?
No.
Did you hear that guy? Oh, it's in the video that's coming on.
Listening.
He called me a Zionist. You're a Zionist, Avi. Yeah, I think he's probably the same douche he was then, and he's just got more douchey friends now. Abby says, Avi, if you could only save Rook or Daniel, who would you save? Daniel.
What are you doing, Abby?
Thank you. Evan says, Avi, random question, but what are your thoughts on Logan Paul and Jake Paul? I don't have many thoughts on them. There's a lot of when there was that fight with Tyson. I really wanted Tyson to bash him, but that's about as far as it goes.
They're in a different space, to the whole political space. Like that is a totally different space, and they're
influenced. But good on them. Like it's fine.
Yeah,
they've done well in life. Good on them. Like I think there's things politically that I would agree with them, things that I disagree with them. I don't think they're not particularly bad or good. But I think good on them. Like they came, I believe, from nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You got to respect that, and they did it like big. Paul Paul Murray says, London, 13 September, unite the kingdom. Take that as a comment.
UTK.
Unite the... Oh.
Then give John Anderson to us. Oh, well, yeah.
All right.
We'll send him over. We will deport him to you.
Cade says, knew this lefty, very nice guy, but would never accept the fact that he was a lefty. Why do the left deny who they are? Yeah, it's funny. I had a brother like that for many years. And now he finally admits he was a loony lefty, and he's no longer a loony lefty. But because they're embarrassed. Would you want to be recognized as a lefty if you were a lefty? No. It's like when you go to AA, don't you have to go, hi, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic, because the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. The lefties will not admit it.
That's right.
Equity, can you say Romy Tomlinson on Meta? Probably not.
Robbie Tomlinson.
Yeah. Last but not least, the real Eric says about the bins. I got a quotation saved. If you want me to send to you guys later, yes, shoot it through.
That'll be interesting. But if it was made by prisoners, it's going to be a lot cheaper than any standard manufacturing process for sure.
On that note, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. What's
it's a different show today? It's a different show, mate. I'm. People can tell I'm pretty tired.
I'm wrecked. But we've got... Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen next week. So what I'll say is on YouTube... Okay, actually, the next couple of weeks might be interesting. So guys, make sure, subscribe to us across all channels and social media. So if you want to find my social media, follow avi.com and go to all the different platforms and follow us there. And Rukshan, go to Rukshan's Facebook, X, YouTube, subscribe, turn the notification bell. But watch your space. Maybe check the different platforms. Will let you know what's going to happen, because I'm not sure. We are definitely going to be streaming a lot in the next over the next 3 weeks, but it might not be at the normal times, and it will be completely different. So make sure, like most important platform of all for this is go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Trust me, subscribe to both our channels, hit the notification bell, and when you hit the notification bell, do all notifications. You can thank me later. And if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe in 3 weeks, but we will hunt you down. Last super chat before we close.
This is a good super chat. Abby, thank you for saving me. I know. I knew you would step in.
You're out. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.